With you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into this afternoon as we get you to the weekend. We had round 2 of the NBA draft last night. We got to talk a lot of wagering this afternoon with a busy weekend in the sports world. A whole lot of baseball to get into as well. And later in the show, to start our third hour, we're going to get to another early college football playoff bracket and go through that entire thing and crown our winners on June 27th. We'll do that in the 5 o'clock hour. So a lot to get to this afternoon, but before we get to any of it, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing great. It really is a baseball weekend this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, I mean, with basketball coming to an end and kind of everything down, it's going to be a lot of baseball this weekend. So some good series getting started, and it'll be a lot to keep up with tomorrow. And
even this weekend, a little too early, even for rumors of free agency. I mean, if you announce one now, I think they'd be scared to do it for fear of tampering coming their way. So this weekend's even too early for that. And then next weekend, let it fly. It'll be a lot of news.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be, starting Monday evening, it's going to be all out, and we'll see, obviously, some decisions for the Grizzlies to make with some of their free agents, and we'll see how early or what kind of those moves look like for them as they look to start putting together this roster for next season. So, yeah, next week's going to be very busy around the NBA, but it'll probably be pretty quiet this weekend with not much going on. Everyone kind of getting done with the draft, getting ready for free agency. So it really will be a baseball weekend.
And a little bit of a shocker with the Masai Ujiri firing in Toronto. He did bring them their only title, very well thought of around the NBA, 13-year run there. Time gets us all.
Yeah, no, that was that was pretty shocking news to see earlier today, and like you said, had been there for a really long time, had gotten them a championship. But you're right, it feels like that entire organization, the way the roster is constructed right now, feels like they're starting to move into a new era, and maybe that means new leadership. And so yeah, make that change, and we'll see what's next for him. It feels like he'll be very popular around the NBA with someone wanting to pick him up pretty quickly.
Sent shockwaves through a lot of guys.
Oh yeah,
and gals. It may be on the edge for next year because if he wants to work, he'll work.
Oh yeah. I mean, he will have job offers to multiple places just because of how good he was with Toronto. But definitely surprising news this morning, and kind of add that to this already very busy offseason in the NBA. Again, everyone talking about how wild this offseason will be for the NBA. Just add that on. I mean, it already has been pretty crazy, and we haven't even gotten to free agency yet, so it feels like going to be a lot of fun this offseason.
It's a very naive person or an utter fool in any walk of life that doesn't think they can be replaced.
Oh, yeah.
Within a minute's notice. And you just look at the NBA. With 9 games to go, Taylor Jenkins out, even less than that for the Denver Nuggets, and Mike Malone had won an NBA championship. Tom Thibodeau gets a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. We got parade routes planned in New York City through the Canyon of Heroes. What'd that get him? Not anything. And Masai Ujiri delivered a title, and Luka Doncic got traded, and the Denver Nuggets openly talking the other day about, a very real specter exists that someday they might have to move away from Nikola Jokic. So it can happen to anybody in any walk of life. And sadly, right now with the kind of the physical year, the academic year coming to an end on June 30th, a lot of colleges today and near and far, I don't want to throw out any names. I'll let them report their own news. But at a lot of places I know of, early retirement packages being offered to longtime figures in the athletics departments at places because the budget going forward, it just has. I'm not saying those people very much mattered, but they're looking for any way to cut in these departments, and a lot of names that a lot of people know. will take some of these severance packages.
Yeah, you're seeing it, in really every walk of life, but certainly in the world of athletics, and especially in college athletics, as we're going to this new era of college athletics. But you talked about the NBA, and you're seeing it feels like a lot of these leashes, whether it's on coaches, whether it's on players, whether it's on front office. I mean, it's getting short, and we know obviously when it comes to players, because of the financial restraints now on teams. With coaches, it just feels like all these teams are wanting to push and contend. And so you're seeing some moves that I think, are questionable and certainly surprising. And yes, I mean, you look around Toronto, Memphis, Denver, New York, still without a head coach and still going out there interviewing guys. It's weird in the NBA, kind of how quick all of this stuff can really happen.
And to college sports, I think one of the popular easy talk radio subjects is hot seat for anything, for college or pro jobs, but for college jobs right now. And I think a couple people are real beneficiaries of the looming storm. I think places may have stayed with some that 4, 5, 6 years ago they would have moved away from in college, is that they just do not want to fire that coach and have to pay that package, the goodbye package and the incoming welcoming package. Yeah. And they just do not want to do that unless you had really, really, really well-heeled Fat Cat Booster that he went to that AD and said, I want him gone. And that AD says, if you'll write the check, he's fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you just want me to do it and me to find the funds in general operating funds, I can't do it.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot. I think the last maybe 2 years, maybe even longer than that, we've kind of talked about coaches that maybe getting an extra year, maybe not seeing moves because of those, because of the financials and because of, hey, you're going to have to pay to get rid of them, you're going to have to pay a new coach, and all that stacks up. And certainly now in this new world, when now you're using budget to pay players and all of that, I think it's going to become even more of an issue for schools where they can't make that decision like they were able to 5-6 years ago. And I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on going forward in college athletics, especially football and basketball, with a lot of these big name coaches, big name programs maybe not wanting to make those moves.
And for college football, we are now thoroughly, firmly ensconced in a playoff world. We'll have our college football playoff bracket at 5 o'clock.
That's right.
It's going to put so much pressure on people after 2 or 3 years of you didn't make the playoffs, and especially after it expands. And it's one of the big reasons I'm opposed to the NCAA tournament, among many reasons opposed to the NCAA basketball tournament expanding, because Brian, I've talked about 20 wins. It just hadn't been a metric benchmark for anybody serious since, over almost 40 years, at least since the late 80s. But I think you could even get into 84, 85 that, we won 20 games. I think it's the talk of a loser of, hey, look, we hit the 20 win mark. But anybody with a pulse would have won 17 of those.
Right.
I just don't think that's very much. And now it will be the coach's security blanket for, I went to the tournament, because the tournament expanded. You're not any good. And they're going to go to what, 33, 34 games?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Matt Norlander saying by the 2030s we could see 34, 35 games in a regular season.
Let's say 35. Just imagine that guy that goes 20 and 15. Well, I won 20 games. It's going to get so old to hear that, and we know of some that will be that will be the crutch for them to lean on, and I don't like the idea of it, because I don't think they want to mess with moving the finals back another Monday. So that just using a couple of dates. They don't want it following 10th, 11th, and 12th. They want it around that 4th, 5th, or 6th Monday. So that means the season's going to have to start 23rd, 24th of October.
Yeah.
There's zero market anywhere for that. Yeah. There's no demand from fans going, I want October 24th regular season college basketball. There's just not. And the college football monster that is already nichified college basketball would devour it even more. Yeah. Even in hardcore college basketball places. I can tell you for me, I'm not interrupting full throttle college football talk to talk about college basketball opening night on the 25th of October.
Yeah, no, it'd certainly be early. And, I think we're expanding to 32 games. Once you expand to 35 games, once the tournament expands, I think the hope would be that competent athletic departments would not let just getting to the tournament with a lot of these coaches and just winning 20 games suffice, because obviously, it's not moving the goalpost. Literally, the sport is changing. The amount of games, the season, everything is changing with that. And so, at least for, power programs, I think it would change a little bit, but you're right in terms of moving the season earlier. I mean, you talk about, late October regular season games. It would just be, it would be hard for a lot of people, and it's already hard for a lot of people to get into November college basketball.
It sure is.
It'd be 10 times harder to get into October basketball.
Really, until feast week, maybe the week before, more toward the latter part of that week even, but feast week really kind of gets it going for most, and in these round of cuts, and everybody's so budget conscious. I don't think college basketball needs to be expanding. I think a game or two should be cut instead of that November 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th opening night. Cut that whole week back, at least be another week or another week getting close to what I'm talking about with feast week or that week before, instead of forcing this. And somebody's got to travel. Everybody can't play at home.
That's right.
Where's that budget come from? And the big boys are going to want to play at home.
Oh, yeah.
So already budget-minded, budget-taxed, hurting, pressured places are going to have to be traveling more.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And so I don't know, I'm fine, I guess, with the addition of one more game. But I think, when you get up to 34, 35 games, that sounds like a whole lot, just on the base. And then when you get a little deeper into like what you're saying of, budgets and travel and all of that stuff, it just adds more and more. So I don't know what the conversations are going to be when we get to that point, but obviously, Matt Norlander does a really good job at CBS Sports. He certainly has the intel telling him that it's moving in that direction.
Oh, it's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. And no matter how red-faced I get, I can't stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happening. The expansion of the NCAA tournament's happening. There's no stopping it. Dan Wetzel, great story today at ESPN.com. Hard pass on NCAA tourney expansion. I'm with him on every semicolon of that story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't read that story, but, we've talked about it a lot of just no point in expanding the NCAA tournament. Every year you can go look. Maybe there's one. Maybe at the most there are two teams, per year that
maybe two.
Maybe that is a exaggeration. I think of maybe two teams that you can really say they deserve to be in the field. Usually it's just about one, if that. I think the teams that are in, they deserve it, and the teams that are out, there are very clearly things on your resume that if you just improved on, if you were just a little better in those aspects, you would have been in that field. And so I don't really, I'm not with the expanding of the tournament, but like we said with scheduling, it's going to happen, and it's going to be something that we have to get used to and get ready for, I guess.
Did you see the home run derby news today?
Oh, yeah, big dumper in, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Got to. That makes the home run derby.
Dropping bombs in Atlanta.
Oh, man.
Every headline.
I can't wait.
Double entendre, isn't it?
I can't wait for it. It's gonna be good, and you can have some fun with it. So that was fun news earlier.
How different does your college football playoff bracket on June 27th look to our only one we had on January 31st?
It looks a little different. I don't think it looks a ton different. I think it's going to start looking a lot more different once we get really close to the season.
We're only doing one more.
Yeah.
That's when we let fly as it.
Yeah, I think that one's going to look probably more different than what this one looks to the last one. because it looks a little different, but not crazy by any.
Mine's radically different.
Really? Okay.
At the bottom, when you get down to finals, semifinals, even Elite Eight, pretty much the same.
Yeah.
At first slate of 12,
okay,
very different.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun. We'll get to that at 5 o'clock, and that will
could
be
almost accuse me of being an SEC hater.
Okay, wow.
How different it looks.
All right, well, we'll get to that later. That will be fun. I know all three of us have our top 12 and our bracket ready to go for that segment. We got a lot to get to today, so let me set it up before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He'll join us. We'll talk some wagering with him. A lot of baseball with it being a very baseball weekend. We'll get some picks from him. We'll also talk some other things, football, as we get closer to the season. 3:45, we'll talk Grizzlies as Monday free agency starts. What will they do? Free agency, kind of look back at the draft as a whole for what the Grizzlies did. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us. We'll talk more wagering with Bruce. 4:30, we'll talk baseball. We'll recap what happened last night and get to a couple of these weekend series, some of the stories going on around Major League Baseball. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll get to our early college football playoff bracket. 5:30, we'll talk about what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Mo's Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools starting at $19.99 installed, with liners starting at $299, and right now all pool accessories are up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99 with swim spas and cold plunge tubs, now $2,000 off. Don't forget about patio furniture, select sets now up to 50% off, and if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sports Time, and we're with you until 6 o'clock. He's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt, and we are Sports Time. And we want you to join us by texting or calling at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line 901-360-8255. All our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Thank you so much, Sissy's Log Cabin. And thank you to Family Leisure. We're always in our Family Leisure studios. We need to be in a pool from Family Leisure. I know a lot of people will be this weekend. Thank you to Billy and Lindsay and the great team at Family Leisure. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. They're at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but they invite you to stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is the news that came out last night. About 30 minutes after we got off air, Jason Munz reported that Dane Danger's waiver was denied by the NCAA. We had talked earlier with Greg Gaston about when would we hear some news.
We kind of won the timing award.
We were right there on the money with Greg Gaston. It feels like that's the second or third time in the last month we've had Greg Gaston on.
Sure
talk
is.
about something Tiger specific, and then news breaks later that night or the next day. But Greg Gaston, he put it out there yesterday that, never felt like this had a great shot of getting approved.
Greg was right on it the whole time. He was right on P.J. Haggerty. He said immediately, ship the sail, wave goodbye.
That's right. That's exactly right. And so we saw the NCAA respond exactly like I think a lot of people thought they would, denying his request. At the end of the day, the argument was never really very good for Dane Danger to get another year of eligibility, and we kind of talked about if it was denied, would he try to fight back? Would he take this to court? Would he do something? And ultimately last night, all the signs kind of pointed to him not doing that. He put out on social media a thank you to Memphis, and then later last night, after the completion of the second round, he signed a summer league deal with the Miami Heat, so it feels like he is moving on to professional options, whether that is the G League whether that is something overseas. But now this creates a new dilemma for Tiger basketball, because I think a lot of the time you were looking at this roster and you were looking at the guys, and every time you kind of talked about it, you said, well, they might still have Dane Danger. What if Dane Danger gets approved? Now we know he is not approved. He will not be a part of this team next year. Now the Tigers sit at 12 guys and really only one big man on this roster. I know Jason Munns was on earlier today with Dave Lotion talking about he knows at least one player that is kind of behind the scenes committing soon to the Tigers. He did not reveal if that's a big. He did say he was a big. He said he was closer to kind of a Musa Cisse type player that could be committing soon, so maybe one more in the fold, but we'll see what Penny Hardaway does now with Dane Danger officially not in the fold for next season.
My top story, on to free agency for the Grizzlies, and let's hope more trade action and deals in free agency for the Grizzlies and the rest of the league than we had over the 2 days of the draft. The 2 days of the draft made me desperate, so desperate for action, I turned it on something else with more action. I turned it on C-SPAN.
Oh, wow.
It was just nothing going on at the NBA draft.
Yeah.
It had nothing. It was all smoke and just very little flame. We need more excitement. Maybe free agency will bring it. The draft was a dud. But now we're here with Meshack, Small, Coward. Now the Grizzlies, a year after going, let's outscore everybody 140 to 135, we're going back to grit and grind now.
That's right, yeah. Defensive guys.
Yeah, who's going to be the next grandfather?
Yeah, well, maybe saw their miscues with no defense with last year's team.
Wasn't Isolo part of the new staff in to outscore everybody?
That's true. He was. So who knows what they're doing.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day, it is what the Grizzlies did last night and really the second round as a whole. It obviously was not what day one was. Wasn't must-watch television, top prospects coming off the board, but there were some interesting things that happened last night. The Grizzlies took a pair of players at number 48. They took West Virginia senior Javon Small, and then with the final pick of the draft, after acquiring by trading back, they got Jemai Meshack from Tennessee. Now three guys in this draft that project to be pretty good defenders. They were good defenders in college, at least both those second round picks. But, how much of an impact are either of those guys going to make? Jamal Small is going to be a two-way guy. Jemai Meshack is going to be battling for maybe a two-way roster spot. So really nothing that I think will make an impact on this year's roster.
We got lockdown defenders, Brian.
Well, but
we're going to win 95-94.
Into the bench guys that I don't think you're going to see much on the floor. That's kind of how the second round is right now. Maybe more projects in the second round. But maybe the biggest news from the second round last night, R.J. Lewis Jr., the Big East Player of the Year, who would have commanded a good amount of money by either going back to St. John's or entering the transfer portal. He decided to go to the draft, even though really nobody had him very high on any mock drafts, any draft boards. He went undrafted last night. It looks like he'll play Summer League with the Jazz, but I think a missed opportunity there, big missed opportunity by R.J. Lewis to maybe go and make a lot more money in college, and now he'll be trying to fight for something.
I wish they let him go back. I think if he sued enough, he might could.
He might. I don't know. It feels like the courts are getting a little tougher on some of those lawsuits, but and maybe we talked about it with the NFL of some of these guys that went super late or went undrafted. Might as well just give them that option to go back to school, and I think it's something that's up for discussion.
And used to, the hang-up was if you took cash, it made you a pro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're
everybody's
just
taking
drowning
cash
in cash now. I mean, we always have been. But now we really know it. My not top story. We really live in a college sports world. Brian, this is hard to believe. Mm-hmm. Tell me I'm not having a bad dream.
Okay.
We really live in a college sports world where Texas State, not Texas, not Texas, I could go through all of them. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Texas State is going to be in a conference that's better than the conference Memphis is in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How in the world does that happen? The money's not better, and that's why Memphis is staying where they are, and they should. Mm-hmm. But I think the prestige and the conference brethren, well, I know the conference makeup is better. Mm-hmm. And if the money were, if it was anywhere close, we know what everybody else would be saying about the PAC versus the AAC too.
Oh yeah, and that you laid it out exactly. I mean, Texas State going from the Sun Belt to the Pac-12 makes plenty of sense. For Memphis to do that right now, it doesn't make any sense because of the financials. So
I looked at the biggest home football attendance last year for Texas State. They reported they played Arizona State at home last year and just barely lost. Arizona State dodged Mississippi State and Texas State, but they won the Big 12. So let's make them a top seed, please. If people can't see that difference, I don't know that I know I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
I know I don't want to know you because you don't think good. I know I don't want to ride in a vehicle with you because your judgment's poor. But I looked it up and they had 25,000 for a couple games, and then just arbitrarily listed 28,000 for a couple. Now you may fall on 28,000 one time. You don't fall on 28,000 exactly two times. That was just a sports information guy going put something down.
Why not? Let's just throw down 28 and be done with it. So speaking of Arizona,
what dumb luck? We fell on 28,000 not once but twice.
Well, we know that those announced attendances.
That's cornering the cattle future market twice.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, but we know those announced attendances. They're always right on the money. So I am not surprised by that. But speaking of Arizona,
we need a scan count.
Well, yeah, we need to dig into Texas State and see what actually
I have no
was going
scan
on
count
there.
contacts at Texas State.
Neither do I. But speaking of Arizona State, the Big 12 announcing that this year no preseason media polls. So I guess
were they that embarrassed over picking Arizona State last?
Maybe, I don't know. It had to be something. But yeah, that will. Take something out of media days, I guess. No preseason polls.
I think it's they don't want the perception of having that happen again, because, and we will get to it, the Big 12 is getting a couple of spots in that playoff.
Yeah,
you look at their schedules when they've got it figured out to have a log jam of 1 and 2 lost teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it can happen to really anywhere, because now with the transfer portal the way it is, I mean, who knows what teams are going to look like, and so you could have that team way down at the bottom, and then they out of nowhere are really good and win the conference.
All I want from those preseason votes is transparency and everybody show their vote. They're eliminating.
That's right. Yeah, they're getting rid of them completely. So weird stuff. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. And when we return, we'll talk some wagering. Alan Bell from Driving the Line. He joins us next.
Start your day with Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home or office. Call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 or visit memphismoldinspector.com.
You gotta dip your chicken strips. Hey, this is Keani.
And this is Tabitha.
And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips.
And all the different sauces you can dip them in. I like to line up all my favorite sauces so that in every bite I have a different flavor. Then with the tenderness of the chicken, the juiciness of it, it's all there.
And for me, I like to mix my sauces so I get a little tang and I get a little sweetness all in one bite.
That's what makes it for me. Like, that's what does it for me.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner. Maybe start with an appetizer like our baked sweet peculiar peppers stuffed with goat cheese and mozzarella, finished with basil pistou, and move on to one of our cozy dishes like the double chocolate stout braised boneless beef short ribs with tonkatsu sauce and creamy mashed potatoes, or a fresh seafood dish like our pan-roasted ginger buttered sea bass with cilantro soy vinaigrette. I get hungry just talking about it. Don't forget about dessert, our famous sweet buttermilk pie with brown sugar sauce, or drink your dessert with one of our signature dessert cocktails, like the lemon cheesecake martini, lemony, icy, frothy, and dusted with graham cracker crumbs. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe. This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Depending on where you are, you're dodging a few rain showers out here, especially north of Memphis, also over in parts of Arkansas as well as you travel up towards Marion. It's gotten heavier in the last few minutes. 55 southbound here at South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them this bridal season. Stop by and check them out this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Star Sports Movie and Brian Davis.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Brian Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk some wagering. Joining us now, Alan Bell from Driving the Line. Alan, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get into today. A lot of baseball we'll be watching this weekend. But before we get to any of that, earlier this week, Aaron Rodgers joined the Pat McAfee show and said that he thought it was probably likely that this would be his last year playing football in the NFL. If you were to place odds on if this was Aaron Rodgers' final year, how would you bet that?
First off, man, appreciate you guys having me back. And, I agree with him. I think that it is. And I think that he's being honest. And I don't want to have to go on an Aaron Rodgers retirement tour all year, but, yeah, man, I think that's it. Minus 300. That's where we're going. I think he's telling the truth.
I like it.
Yeah, and he went from almost being Bobby Kennedy's VP choice to now in retirement. he wants to go off the grid and not talk to anybody.
Yeah, he's going to move to Egypt. That's where he's going to go. Start himself a little podcast up there in Egypt.
Why not?
big podcasting studio in Egypt. Way to go.
Well.
But
did he not think he was going to have to run into anybody and talk if he was running for VP?
Yeah, I know, right? You know, he'd be the first politician that doesn't want to talk to anyone.
Right. Yeah, it really doesn't work out like that. On the field, I would imagine, I don't know exactly what the Steelers' over-under win number is. I would imagine around 8.5, 9.5, something like that. Do you think he can make the playoffs with the Steelers?
Yes, I do. As much fun as we poke at Aaron Rodgers, he's better than what they had last year. And I wasn't super negative on the Steelers rolling with
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right. And even doing the two quarterback system, they made it work. Give them credit. They made it work better than I thought they could. But no, I mean, Aaron Rodgers does give him a better chance to win if he's healthy. Yeah, they finally have somebody who can throw the football. Mm-hmm. So I honestly, I mean, Aaron Rodgers again, as much as we poke fun at some of the stuff he does off the field, he is a better option than what they had last year.
Do you think when they open the season on Sunday, September 7th at MetLife Stadium in New York, do they have a video tribute of his jet highlights on the jumbotron?
Yeah, they got him, all those pictures of him on the sideline cheering on his team. No,
yeah. How long would that highlight reel run? About 30 seconds?
About 28 seconds. Yeah. Get himself one solid commercial. There you go.
That's right. That's right. Is there anything that you've been looking at in terms of futures for the NFL yet?
Well, not yet. I've kind of been looking. I start with win totals, and really where I start is I just draw out, each division and where I think each team's going to fall. Mm-hmm. in that division, right? So to answer your question, no. And that process is starting legitimately right after this phone call, because we're going to do that on Driving the Line next week. Is start each team, right? But no, man, like the key is to just draw it out. I swear, if you just write things down, or type it, whatever, on your phone, just looking at it will give you a better perspective. So I highly suggest doing that when you start.
A team we have talked a lot about. They kind of had the last 2 years a little bit in reverse with D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans. C.J. Stroud's rookie year, that probably should have been his second year and vice versa, but they still were a good team last year, losing in the playoffs to Kansas City after beating the Chargers in the playoffs. They went 10-7 regular season last year. Do you think they improve on that, or 9 or 10 is about their trading range?
No, I think they do improve on it, and I think that that they can get better. But you bring it up. I mean, it's fascinating. This team that you're right. Like they did kind of have 2 seasons in reverse, so to say. For C.J. Stroud, right?
It happens, and I'm afraid Washington could do that with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and you're right. And it's something to pay attention to, because, you start to see it once other teams get film on you and they've played you, especially in division games. And they're like, oh, okay, we got it now. All right, we see what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's real. That's a real thing. But, they're in a very winnable division in the AFC South. They're not going to face any, juggernauts, so to say. And I think that, I do like D'Amico Ryans. I think he's a heck of a football coach. So I think they get better. But you bring up a real point, and Jaden Daniels, that's another great point as well to watch out for.
I love D'Amico Ryans. Loved him player. Bama loved him player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Love him as I think he's going to be superstar head coach. Alan, when I mentioned Washington maybe had the back-to-back years in reverse, could have it. Bryant, I think your Cowboys. Best receiving core in the NFC East.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
they are.
Giving me something to be excited about, I guess.
And I like the, direction of the new staff. I like where, the Cowboys are going. It comes down to Dak Prescott, man. Is he healthy, and can they run the football? Mm-hmm. They do those two things, man. They got talent. Dude, your boys got talent everywhere. You got it all over the field, man.
Yeah. Great. Well, we'll see. Hope it's a big year for them. Speaking of another team in that division, Brett and I have talked about this a lot. I don't know if you've looked at it, but the Giants' schedule, especially those first 6 games, maybe the most brutal start of the season for any team. You look at that quarterback room. They've got Russell Wilson in there. They've got a couple other guys. They've got the young rookie in there in Jackson Dart. I mean, it could get really ugly for the Giants this year.
It's rough.
Oh, God, yeah. Like, Russell Wilson does not have an easy path to start this thing out. But you know what? That's good for Jackson Dart. He's sitting there saying, yeah, you go through. Have fun with that, buddy. I'll be ready to pick this thing up. I'm excited to see the kid, man. I like Jackson Dart a lot. He seems like a good guy, too.
I love him. He great guy, great competitor, but he's going to get real familiar with the hot tub and the cold tub.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, that's a brutal schedule to start out the year. There's no question about that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Going over to Major League Baseball, some fun series getting started tonight for this weekend. But before we get to any games, one thing, and Brett and I have talked about it a little bit, and I don't have any numbers in front of me that support this or anything. It's just every time I watch it, it's something I notice. But Tampa Bay playing in the spring training complex feels like totals there, go over. It feels like the ball leaves that yard. Hitting is really good there. What do you make of this Rays team right now and that ballpark they're playing in?
Oh, okay. So first off, the ballpark, absolutely, it's real. That's a real thing. And because you know what? The A's are doing it too. Mm-hmm. And you see the not only do you get that kind of a benefit from, the park that the Rays are in, they can hit.
Yeah.
Like, this team has hitters. You know what I mean? They've absolutely been on fire. They're a fun team. They play for each other. They've got a good clubhouse. I've got a friend of mine who works, for the Rays Network down there, and he tells me all the time. He's like, man, this clubhouse is just they're a fun-loving bunch. You know, like he says, you know, that they remind him of a college baseball team. In the fact that, like, they're just dudes out there having a good time, man. No matter if you're the highest paid player or you're a rookie who's been there for 2 days, like, if you wear that uniform, like, you're in the crew. You know what I mean? So they're
they don't
team,
have
man, for sure.
They don't have many high paid players.
No, that's the good thing. Well, a good thing and a bad thing, but no, like that kind of galvanizes them. That you know, they're this, you know, quote unquote kind of misfit team that nobody knows where they're, you know, where they play. Are they even going to be in Tampa in 5 years? Are they going to be in Nashville? Like all these kind of crazy things. But yeah, they can hit, man, and they play for each other.
Alan, we know every sport, every angle you come from, it's hard. It's why they call it gambling. But I think over and unders in any sport, but in the NBA and in baseball, yesterday, Brian, how many was it? 4 or 5 shutouts yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, just when you think that trend starts, then today will be 11-10.
Yep. Yeah, and it's Sundays and sometimes Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, man. These travel days, dude, they get you. I mean, you know it. Like
a lot of afternoon games.
A lot of them, and you see teams that when they jump out to a 3-0, 4-0 lead, I'm not saying the other team waves the white flag, but the other team kind of waves the white flag. It's baseball. There's a lot of these games. Yeah, and that heat dome that's been around for the week, we've seen that a couple times where there are a lot of shutouts where literally it would just be, all right, put some of the young guys in.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you like this weekend in Major League Baseball?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. The Braves need to get on it, and they're
getting
going
late.
up against the. Yeah, it is. You know, and they've got the team. And look, I'm not saying that the Braves are going to win any World Series. I don't think that they're that good. And they've got issues in the bullpen, but you know, if this team does want to, you know, make some noise, make a run, not that you have to do it right now, but you know, you need to start handling these teams, you know, in the division, and they just, you know, let one go against the Mets. Now they got the Phillies here. Let's see how they handle it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough this weekend for them. But I mean, that feels like a big series. Less big for the Phillies, but Phillies coming off a sweep. Braves need to get things going. That feels like a big weekend series for both of those teams. One to definitely keep an eye on. Alan, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Friday.
Look forward to it, fellas. You have a wonderful weekend, man. Thank you,
guys.
Have a great weekend. Thank you, Alan. Alan Bell with us from Driving the Line. I think we'll be back with him in 2 Fridays.
Oh, that's right, because next Friday's 4th of July. Yeah,
I'll sure let him know. And did you see where Wilson Contreras apologized to the Cubs?
Yeah, it's crazy. I did see that. Yeah, good for him, I guess.
I think he needed to, Brian.
I know you do. I know you do. I didn't. I mean, good Lord.
We really disagreed on that one, didn't we?
I mean, good Lord. I mean, we're apologizing for barking. I mean, what are we doing? It's insane.
But I thought the barking was Bush.
Well, you know, I thought the Cubs initiated it, and I thought Wilson Contreras responded probably how I would have responded. So I cannot fault him at all.
And pretty full apology.
Yeah, good for him. You know, I guess trying to be a leader in this clubhouse.
The Cubs are in a good series this weekend.
They are. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of really
Cubs
good
at
series.
Astros. That'd be good.
Be fun. Yeah, no, those are two teams top their division. Two teams playing really well right now, and identical records. So yeah, that'll be a fun one to keep an eye on all weekend long. Cubs on the road, so Astros maybe a little advantage there. That'll be really fun to watch.
It will be this weekend and coming up for 4th of July holiday. I know everybody's thinking about the right foods, the right desserts, the right get-togethers. Let Jason's Deli help you out. A variety of delicious choices for breakfast, lunch, all-day meals, whether it's a big group or a small group, 5 or 5,000, they've got you covered with low delivery fees, same-day and last-minute orders. Welcome. That's where they really excel. You step aside. I know a lot of wedding party get-together types soon. We'll be back to college type get-togethers. Let Jason's Deli help you out, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing, and for those desserts, I know when you go off to the lake and all that, you want to have plenty of dessert. Start with a strawberry shortcake. Freshest, best time of the year for the strawberry shortcake at Jason's Deli. It is delicious. Off the menu, all the salads you want to order, like the Mesa chicken salad, the Big Chef salad, my favorite, the taco salad, and in every Jason's Deli at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova. You walk in and you see that salad bar for you to prepare it however you would like, with over 30 items to choose from on the salad bar. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. That's the rave now. They were doing it a long time ago at Jason's Deli, where it's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals. You will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, all the soups, all the breads, all the spreads, and that great salad bar in every location. At Ridgeway Road, across from MUS, at Park Place, by the University of Memphis, at Poplar and Highland, out in Cordova, down in Olive Branch, and complimentary free ice cream year-round, but especially these hot summer days. You will enjoy that. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about the offseason for the Grizzlies. We know now the draft behind us, free agency getting started next week. What will the Grizzlies do? We'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Researchers are weathering the data storm. So it's almost like they're controlling the weather themselves. Lenovo and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Lenovo client.
It's summer in the Mid-South and deals have never been hotter at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. You'll find 0% for 36 months available on new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander. Get 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, car and driver rated #1 best non-hybrid electric fuel economy with 39 combined MPG. Buy Mirage, only $17,675. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV plug-in hybrid, $299 a month with combined range of 420 miles. Beats Mazda CX-90's warranty and mileage. And 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $28,480 or $349 a month. Plus peace of mind with 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 18175, PHEV SC 0017030, MSRP 42615, Sport SU 06141, MSRP 28980, includes all rebates and incentives with 5691 down, excludes tax on a license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealers back only.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from the Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports 56
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. We got to talk about the Grizzlies. And as this offseason continues, we know now the draft behind us. Grizzlies go out there, draft 3 players. And now next step is free agency that will get started next week. We'll see what all is in store, but we know a couple guys that decisions are out there. It sounds like Luke Kennard probably not be back on this roster next year. Santi Aldama, the big question, do they re-up with him? There's been rumors and reports about interests elsewhere about a sign-and trade involving him. So definitely decisions with guys that were on last year's roster and what you do with him. It feels like it's going to be a very eventful next couple of weeks.
It does, and it feels like next year will definitely be a lot more emphasis on defense. I was reluctant with signing up for that go high scoring because that's great October through March. But I know at playoff time, and we saw it, what won it for Oklahoma City and what really propelled Indiana out of the East was defense.
Yeah, no, it was, both teams, they thrived defensively, and you saw it. You saw it in matchups between those two teams of really good defensive matchup. So yeah, I mean, especially in the playoffs, when you gotta lock down and get a stop, I mean, you need that defense coming up. And that team last year showed that they were not going to be capable of coming up with those type of stops.
Never. So if we're going to be more defensive minded, you're not going to miss Luke Kennard that much. He didn't play any defense, and I don't think he consistently hit enough shots to outweigh his glaring deficiency. Really, even his handle, that when you would have to move him over to spot duty on the ball offensively, I think that messed him up too. He just wants to catch and shoot.
Yeah, and we talked about it a lot, right at the end of the season of, even if you weren't, even before we knew they were, gonna, it seems like making this emphasis on the defensive end of the court. I mean, it's just that inconsistency, when's he on, when's he off, that amount of money that he is going to want in a contract. It always just felt like it was going to be too much for this Grizzlies team to really, bring him back and have a lot of trust in him. So yeah, it feels like they're not going to bring him back. I don't mind that at all. I'm probably in favor for them switching gears and maybe going in a different direction with somebody else. So, we'll see, and we'll see with these moves on free agency if it opens up some stuff. Maybe they go out there and make more trades or go out there and grab a couple free agents. There's definitely still a lot of work to do for this roster.
But right now, all that's really been done, the biggest piece is Bain is out. I guess KCP is a big move. But what are we getting out of him? Are we getting Denver? Are we getting last year? And if we get Denver, do we want that? With it feels like this new fashioned. Let's try, maybe not full in the mud grit and grind, but more defensive tendencies. And in this front office, and it's done it a couple times. I don't blame them. It works. It works with the people. It is the best chapter of the Memphis Grizzlies, without any discussion, were the grit and grind years. Well, that was the previous management team. We were told these whiz kids and this management team would already have firmly maybe established their own mark. Not only have they not done that with one playoff series win in their tenure, they're having to go back and play the hits from the past, the oldies. Let's try grit and grind again.
Yeah, and it's what it seems like, and I think obviously I think that's being pushed more because everyone's familiar with that. Everyone loved the grit and grind. I'm seeing a lot of people writing about that and talking about that and calling it going back to the grit and grind era, and it definitely seems like they're emphasizing defense, but I don't know if it's in the same way as the grit and grind Grizzlies were. But yeah, I mean, I think obviously any team after what we saw last year, I mean, you just talked about it. When you're doing this run and gun, I think any team out there would say we need to probably put a bigger emphasis on the defensive end of the court.
That was gonna catch up.
Yeah, and it looks like they're trying to do that, and you've seen with a couple of these additions, with KCP, going out and getting a long guy with your first pick, trying to emphasize some of those things defensively, especially on the perimeter. When we talked about a lot with Desmond Bain, with Ja Morant, that perimeter defense was not great last last year. It was pretty bad. And so, hopefully these things can improve that a little bit. And we'll see what other moves, if those other moves also emphasize defense like some of these moves have.
Brian, do you remember when Meshack hit the winner late in the year for Tennessee?
Absolutely do. That was the same day we were at the Oklahoma Ole Miss game.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That is exactly right. It was. That was Saturday, March 1st. That is exactly right. I tried today to find the post-game, the full statement. Mm-hmm. Somewhere that day, though, I know Rick Barnes kind of said maybe the last guy wanted heaving that shot up to him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was kind of the thing is felt like every Tennessee fan was like, when he threw that up, I was going, no, yes.
Yeah,
it was kind of one of those moments.
He's there just to play defense.
Yeah.
That's Small's forte as well, isn't it?
Yeah, No, he's a good defender. He's also a good offensive player. Averaged about 19 points a game last year, but is smaller. About 6'3".
He's not getting 19 next year.
Well, no, and second round picks. How much are these guys going to play? Jemai Meshack might not even be on the team next year. And
everybody gets so into these second rounders.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the first couple of picks a lot of times will get some sort of guaranteed money. After that, it's a lot of you're playing for two ways or something lower than that. And I've heard, especially with Jemai Meshack, that he will be going into Summer League trying to play for a two-way roster spot, but could be a draft and stash guy where they find him somewhere over in Europe to play. It doesn't feel like either of these guys are going to be big-time factors for next year's team.
GG and Vince Williams, either, neither, or both back next year.
I think both are probably back next year. I think they'll probably try to give it at least one more go with both of them. Obviously, injuries kind of derailed both of them last year. And so maybe if you can get a full off season, see what they can do next year. I think that's probably what they're going to do. Is that the right move? I don't know, but I would probably be a little surprised. Maybe if one of them's gone, I could see that. I'd be really surprised if both of them are gone.
It was heat of the moment love affair, though, wasn't it, for the front office with both of those players?
Probably a little bit. Obviously, it was, hey, get out there and do whatever you want. We know we're not going anywhere. But I think both of them have a lot of upside, and it's just it needs to get put together, and we'll see if they can do that. Obviously, we've talked a lot about GG. It was, hey, instead of putting up 1 million shots a game, we need you to play this specific role, and that was really hard for him to do last year. So maybe an offseason will really help him, especially one where he does not have to battle any injuries. But we got to get to another break and wrap up this first hour, and when we return, we're going to talk Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports. He'll join us next on Sports Time.
Service Director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 91271-5199.
Located corner of Park and Cherry is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home in Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Unleash the power. Make every mile count in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the bike. Available right now, 2025 Jetta SN 2025 Taos, 4.9 for 60 months. 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport, 3.9% for 60 months. And $1,500 loyalty rebate on all 2025 GTIs, Jettas, Taos, Tiguan's Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport. Plus $5,000 off 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SELR line. But only 2 left, so you better hurry to Gossett Volkswagen. 1875 Covington Pike or online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com. That's Gossett, charging forward and charging less every day. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
Dealer for complete details. 2024 Atlas RC 226135, MSRP 51733, RC 227219, MSRP 52133. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. With approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Depending on where you are, you're dodging a few rain showers out here, especially north of Memphis, also over in parts of Arkansas as well as you travel up towards Marion. It's gotten heavier in the last few minutes. 55 southbound here at South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go by and see them this bridal season. Stop by and check them out this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders. CBS Sports and his own website, VegasSports.net, for the 30 years on Memphis Radio. Sports Talk, Bruce Marshall with Brian and
Bruce Marshall joins us now to talk some wagering. A lot to get into this afternoon. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start with something Brett and I were talking about earlier with another guest, and it's Aaron Rodgers and this Pittsburgh Steelers team. How do you view the Steelers going into next year and Aaron Rodgers? Is this a team that can go to the playoffs? We know the defense has been the calling card for the Steelers. They've had some questionable quarterback options back there and have still been able to be a pretty successful team. What do you make of the Steelers going into next year with Aaron Rodgers?
It's possible, although I have a different thought about this whole Rodgers thing. And I think it was probably in the works before the draft, which is why they didn't go for a quarterback. Well, I guess Will Howard went in the 6th round. They went for him. But I think he's sort of there as insurance, because my gut feel is that Mason Rudolph is going to be their quarterback this year.
Whoa.
And he's going to be the guy. They like Rudolph. He got him into the playoffs a couple of years ago. Why on earth they waited and played Mitch Trubisky ahead of him, I don't know. And I was screaming about that 2 years ago. And then Rudolph came in and they won, and they wanted to get in the playoffs. Given the circumstances with him at Tennessee last year, I mean, that was something that, a lot of quarterbacks would not have won there. But I know they like him, and I see a lot of tripwires here with Rodgers. he would also have to stay healthy a whole year. He's done a pretty good job of that during his career. But there just seems to be a lot of ways this could go wrong with Rodgers there. And, he doesn't seem the Steeler type. Not that he's a malcontent or anything like that, but, he sort of marches to his own drummer. Doesn't seem like a Steelers type of guy to me. I think he's sort of there. They've got, like, Plan A and Plan B this year, and one of those plans is Rudolph. So I don't think if it's doesn't work with Rodgers, and maybe he does get first crack at it, though I'm not 100% sure of that. But I would not be surprised if Mason Rudolph ends up taking the majority of snaps for the Steelers this year.
Bruce, that is the boldest, hottest take on a really hot day that I've heard all day today. I can't imagine him sitting around and being content with holding a clipboard. But there's this also. So 2 years ago, and I know the answer will be 2 years, and he had an injury. But why 2 years ago at this time, on his way to the Jets, I think I did, many others, had deep playoff run, maybe Super Bowl, maybe win a Super Bowl, their first since Joe Namath guaranteed Super Bowl III. He goes out, but everybody liked them going deep into the playoffs with the Jets, the lowly Jets. 2 years later, we're talking, around 500, 9-8, 8-9, maybe a 10-win season, maybe get into playoffs. How in 2 years did he go from plug and play to Super Bowl to now we're all accepting that he just may be a 500 quarterback?
Well, I think part of it was a little bit of last year. I watched the Jets a lot last year when he was there, and he wasn't the only problem, but he wasn't his old self. And I know he got hurt the opener and the year before. His last year at Green Bay was not great. So we're talking 4 or 5 years since he was, really a force. I guess 2021, they were in the playoffs. That's the year they lost the 49ers that cold game up at Lambeau. Mm-hmm. And since then, he was already older then, 36, 37 then.
That's right.
That's a while back now. Every year you add onto a guy, 39, 40, 41, it's not that easy. I think we overestimated him going into the Jets, and I know he got hurt that first year, but he wasn't all that good last year. And I'm telling you, now there's two options there for Pittsburgh, and I don't think he's their only option this year.
Bruce, what is the place in the NFL? There are a couple, but what is the quarterback place that it just does not work out? They've been through a lot of quarterbacks. Since Joe Willie, the Jets have been through a lot of quarterbacks, some that I thought would work out. What's the doomsday place for quarterbacks in the NFL?
I think you just hit it. I think it's been the Jets. They've had a whole bunch that haven't worked out there. So I think they would be near the top of the list. I think you'd want to throw the Raiders in there, maybe too. I know they stuck with Derek Carr for a while, but it certainly hasn't worked for them.
They got an MVP year out of Rich Gannon, though.
Well, how long goes that now, Brett? That's like, what, 21 years?
Yeah, almost 30. Yeah.
I was a young man then. That's a long time ago. So, and I think, there's probably some others that we could think of. The Bears, we'll see how Caleb Williams does. But, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think the Jets are number one in that regard.
Mm-hmm. You told us a couple weeks ago you were starting to put out some college football futures. What, if any, future has really jumped out to you in college, and have you started looking at NFL futures yet?
I haven't started looking at the NFL. I have looked at some colleges up on the Discord channel on CBS Sports Line. I got some up there. Here's one that jumped at me, SEC. I've done a few of those. Auburn jumped at me because they got Auburn at 7.5 on the wins, and they got it priced to the over. It's like minus 135 to the over and like plus 115 to the under. I look under at Auburn, and I'll tell you what. Now, we mentioned Jackson Arnold a couple of weeks ago on the show, and although he may fit what Hugh Freeze and Derek Nix want to do a little bit better than Peyton Thorne did with running, some of the option things that Arnold can do, this is a pretty big leap, and for a program that has been treading water here for a while now, for several years, and certainly under Hugh Freeze. I mean, he is 11-14 the last 2 years there. That has chased previous Auburn coaches, including his predecessor, Brian Harsin, unless you want to count Cadillac Williams for a couple games, into witness protection. I mean, we know the hot seat burns surface temperature on Venus-like levels at Auburn, so he's on the hot seat. But here's the other, this is what gets me into 7.5. If Auburn can sweep its 4 non-league games, and that's asking something because they got to go to Baylor, they got to go to Waco the first game. That is not going to be easy. That's like a pick'em game, and a couple of others. But even if they swept all 4 of their non-league games, they'd have to go 4-4 in the SEC to get over 7.5. They have only won 5 SEC games total the last 2 years. And with Freeze on the hot seat there, I know he's had some, health issues here too, so I feel bad for that. But I think that is asking a lot for Auburn to get to 8 wins this year. I'm looking definitely under, and you can get them at a plus price. So that one sort of jumped out at me in some of the ones that I've done this week.
Bruce, we talked about earlier, I just think a lot of these ADs are going to be very slow in a 7-5 type year. Now, if it's 3-9, it'll pretty much speak for itself. But in a 7-5, 8-4 year, to make that change because money really is it's as tight as it's ever been. The well-heeled owners they're not tapped out, but they're tired of every time they look up. You need more for something, whether it's a player or to buy a coach out or a capital campaign, whatever it is. The big donors are really fatigued, and I think Auburn fits in that, and it fits in that because they have this opening. They finally are done with Nick Saban, so why would you create upheaval if you could possibly avoid it?
Oh, those are all good points. It's funny because I talked with Jimmy Out and Charlie Hannegriff earlier Fridays down in Baton Rouge, and that was like a main topic today: booster fatigue and where this stuff is going. That's a very real thing. Auburn has always seemed sort of in its own universe with that, though, because they have swallowed some big buyouts, and even in Harsin, I think. I mean, his contract, they
Agree.
a little bit. I mean, there were no offsets in that, and I know Gus Malzahn, there were none. Credit Jimmy Sexton for that, and Jimmy's got Freeze in there, so I'm not sure what. I'm sure he's gonna, if he has to walk away, he'll walk away good. But you're right, booster fatigue is real, and it's because the boosters at some point, money. Listen, the whole booster thing is an ego-driven exercise, and a lot of fat cats, they want to feel important, and it makes them feel like they've got a stake in the program, except they really don't. You don't have equity when you're just giving money like that. And at some point, you're going to have to, if you don't have ownership, you don't have equity, you're not going to want to keep doing this forever. That's why some of the schools now, you're starting to hear, well, private equity, are we going to start going that way? Would we actually be selling an interest in our football program or our athletic program to an outside entity? Like the group that bought the Dodgers or some big corporate entity. I know UCLA and Penn State, among two, and there's probably others, are already talking about that. But to your last point, in this day and age, and you're very right, because now with the new revenue sharing and all that, just off the top there, most of these programs now, you got to start paying the players too. And I know there is still a nil component outside of that can take care of some of this, but still, budget-wise, it's going to be a little bit tougher now, and just to swallow these big deals. That probably helped Billy Napier at Florida, I think, get him another year. Well, I think he probably deserved it after last year. They rallied late, but I mean, that's something now that Auburn is going to have to think of too. Maybe they're just outside of their universe and they can always handle a buyout, but I think that's a big concern, like you say.
I think it helped Sam Pittman too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It absolutely helped Pittman too, and I'm wondering, because they made there was a big deal with Calipari too, but I know that was the booster. The Tyson Foods fellow was there involved with that. But you're right. I think Pittman's another one too. I mean, he would be he would be certainly in that mix as well.
Yeah.
Brent Venables on that list?
Yeah, I think, of the hot seats in the SEC, I think he's at the top right now, even above Freeze. And I don't think no one at Oklahoma, another 6-6 ain't going to do it. Even a 7-5, and I don't know that Oklahoma is ready to acknowledge that this might be the reality for them in the SEC. And those 10, 11 win seasons they used to get quite often in the Big 12 and back in the Big 8 days, they ain't happening all the time in the SEC. I don't think the boosters have grasped that yet. They're going to give Venables one more chance this year, but I think the pressure is squarely on him and Norman.
You saw Oklahoma in person last year in Oxford, and I mentioned the other day, Bryant can attest, this is the only time I saw him in person. I watched him a lot on TV. Never mind not being ready for the SEC. It did not resemble the OU speed, Bruce, that we watched, 70s, 80s, big game Bob Stoops. I mean, there wasn't an Elvis Peacock or Buster Rhymes, not the rap star, Buster Rhymes or Jamel Holloway or Danny Bradley or Eric Mitchell or David Overstreet or any of those hosses anywhere.
No, Joe Washington, my favorite running back in college of all time, going way back. You're right. One thing I think Oklahoma people are forgetting, they were fortunate. Switzer came when he did, and Chuck Fairbanks had sort of teed that thing up when he moved out, and Switzer then was able to get it up to the next level and sustain it. But since him, they went to Gary Gibbs, and and then that was sort of their answer to Ray Perkins at Alabama, and then they eventually moved Gibbs out, and then it got worse. They had Schnellenberger for a year and John Blake, and they were nowhere. Bob Stoops saved them. So really, I say this about everywhere, Brett. A top-level coach can mask a lot of things. And Stoops was a winner, just like Switzer was. And Alabama people better realize that, too. I am not sure Kalen DeBoer is another Nick Saban. And you don't just win there. I mean, Mike Shula wasn't Saban either. Nor was Franchione. So I mean,
Mike Shula wasn't even David Shula.
He wasn't. Yeah, I mean, so you need a top coach, and I'm not sure that Venables is the guy. You need a special guy anywhere. Notre Dame's a great example. You don't just win there. You got to have the right coach. Texas, go down the list.
I'm looking at the list of Oklahoma coaches. I'd looked this up, but I knew there was a very innocuous name after Bud Wilkinson before Chuck Fairbanks, and a lot of Oklahoma people and Arkansas people would tell you that they would have kept it going with the Frank Broyles protege, Jim McKenzie, but he died as a young man of a heart attack. But between Bud Wilkinson and Jim McKenzie and Bryant, the Gomer Jones and the photo is not flattering. I mean, you look at that photo with that old timey helmet on, and you go, "That was our coach one time."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Gomer Jones. History did not treat Gomer well, did it?
It's a great name.
No, it didn't. It reminds me, even Bama. I mean, Ears Whitworth was there before Bear Bryant, I think, too, and it's a good nickname for him as well.
Well, and Paul Feinbaum called Mike Dubose because he was from OPP, Alabama, the flop from Op.
Yes, there you go. There's another one.
That's funny. Bruce, later in the show, Brett and I are going to do a early college football playoff bracket. Is there a team that you think could be a maybe sleeper team, a surprise team?
This year's Arizona State.
Yeah, that kind of could make their way into the bracket?
Yeah. Although I'm trying to think. I'm spinning my wheels a bit here, thinking who I might think there. I will give you one. And it's going to be out of the ACC, and this would be sort of getting in the tournament. I'm not sure if they're going to do any damage when they get there, but I certainly think they could win the ACC. There's a lot of support for Clemson. Cade Klubnik is back. Clemson got there last year. Dabo has won before, but I don't still think Clemson is at levels that it was. I would watch Georgia Tech for a couple reasons. One, right off the bat, now we'll know by mid September if they're really a factor in this, because they open up at Colorado and they get Clemson at home 2 weeks later, September 13th. If they win both of those two games, all of a sudden, Georgia Tech is in the conversation. Haynes King is part of that group. I call them Jimbo's boys, guys who had once played quarterback at Texas A&M and are still kicking and are still around. Connor Wiegman's at Houston, and Calzada's now at Kentucky, and Max Johnson is still playing at North Carolina, and Haynes King is at Georgia Tech. But he's the one that they thought was going to be the savior there. And he wasn't able to stay on the field all the way through last year. But when Georgia Tech was healthy, they played everybody heads up last year. They should have won that game at Georgia at the end of the year. They beat Miami when Miami was unbeaten in November. And if they can avoid injury, and I like Brent Key so much as a coach, they are a very competitive side. And the ACC is a league, if you can get by Clemson, you got a shot. And I know there's still SMU in there, but there's a path through the ACC for a second bid like they got last year that is there. So that's the one I would look at.
Bruce, I love that. Haynes King starting his third year, as you stated, as the starter. He's played a lot of football, and he's really got it back for his last hurrah. I'm with you on their coach. Here's mine from the ACC, kind of my back of the pack to make noise to maybe to get in the college football playoff. It's Virginia Tech, and they open against South Carolina.
Yes. Now, I thought Virginia Tech was ready last year because they had a lot of now they've still got the quarterback there again, and I think Brent probably knows what he's doing, but that was a little bit of a disappointment last year because I thought last year was going to be that for them, and they lost that opener to Vanderbilt. They get Vanderbilt again, though. They get them in Blacksburg this year. But yeah, I'd probably watch them too. I think there's a couple of those in the ACC that I would look at, and that does not include North Carolina. I think this could go pear-shaped on Belichick really fast, and it does not include Florida State either. And then, if that is the case, I just wonder if the Deion rumors went. They would start if Mike Norvell can't get this thing going. You don't go 2-10 out of the blue. There's a reason they were that bad last year, and you don't just snap back to the way they were 2 years ago. And I'm not sure how good they really were 2 years ago. Schedule broke very well. ACC was really down 2 years ago. I don't think it's going to be Florida State. I don't think it's going to be North Carolina. I think it could be Georgia Tech, possibly Virginia Tech. And remember, SMU was also there last year too. So interesting in the non-Clemson part of the ACC.
You're right, and I like how you classify it. And then after you go non-Clemson, non-Miami, if there's any scenario for three from the ACC, that third one's going to be a lot of fun. It could be SMU again, but it could be a couple of teams. And I'm with you. I don't think it includes North Carolina nor FSU. It could be NC State or the Techs that we mentioned.
Yeah, it could.
Fun league.
And Miami, it all depends on Carson Beck. And I was thinking about that this week. I'm surprised there aren't more quarterbacks that don't have the injury that Carson Beck had and the way he got it when you're throwing the ball, and that really looked gruesome when it happened against Texas in the SEC title game. But it seems like quarterbacks are kind of vulnerable, and that was a bad elbow injury. He wasn't even
that's what got Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, it's not that, and I'm not sure where Beck was anyway, and he's, the other thing is you put a lot of money in a guy's pocket, and the first thing he does is go out and buy a Lamborghini. If he's got some people advising him who are smart, buy an apartment building or something. Don't go out and buy a Lamborghini. So I don't know how mature he is anyway, and getting his girlfriend a $500,000 diamond ring. That's not what you do.
No, definitely not. Last thing for you, Bruce, before we let you go, busy weekend in Major League Baseball. Anything you like this weekend?
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay, watching them, they're 25-8, their last 33. This team is really something right now. And I watched most of those games, the Royals this week, and they just, first of all, the pitching was great. The Royals scored one run across 3 games. So the pitching has been outstanding, whether it be Rasmussen, whether it be Shane Baz, whoever they've been. Bradley had a great game the other night. And tonight, Pepio's had a great run. They're in Baltimore. Seguano has not been that great. He just, he had come back a little bit ago from injury. Baltimore's played a little better, but I just keep riding Tampa Bay. It's done a big price for them. I think this is the best team in the American League right now, and I think they could run down the Yankees too. It would not surprise me one bit. So Tampa Bay is one there. I might look at the Giants, who have had a little bit of a bumpy go. They're in Chicago to play the White Sox tonight. Landon Roop, the rookie, you throw out that one bad start against the Dodgers. He has been dynamite. His other 8 starts since the start of May, like ERA like 1.62. And the White Sox, though, they have some of these young pitchers who I like and have kept them more competitive this year. They just added Aaron Savali from Milwaukee. He ain't one of them, and he has not pitched too well his first 2 outings for the Chi Sox. I might go run line on the Giants. You get a slight plus price there. And I actually might give the Royals a shot. I know they've had a bad week. They were into Tampa Bay at the wrong time. The Dodgers are in tonight. But if there's one Dodger pitcher you can hit, it's that wild-haired Dustin May. He has been knocked around every start. Dodgers just got a break against the Rockies. And the Royals, Cameron, he's sort of the Landon Roop of the Royals. He had one bad start against the Yankees, but in his other 7 starts since they called him up, his ERA is like 1.07. He's been very impressive. So they just score a few runs tonight, and I think they will against May. That's an underdog to look at tonight.
Bruce, I'm so sorry. Nobody better to get Pac-12 thoughts or Pac thoughts from you. What'd you think of the admission of Texas Stadium?
Good thing Bill Walton had passed away last year, because that would have killed him for sure.
Sure would have.
If Texas had seen that news. I don't like it. I don't anything to the Pac-12 here. First of all, they shouldn't. It's an insult to the history of the Pac-12. They should have amalgamated with the Mountain West. It caused less disruption in the region. It was for selfish reasons that Washington State and Oregon State didn't want to do that. They didn't want to cut the pie up in all those pieces. There were enough dissident Mountain West teams that thought they're getting a better deal, like Colorado State and Boise and them, so they jumped in. But all they ended up doing was disrupting the Mountain West. They disrupted the WCC because Gonzaga, domino effect to the Big West and now to the Sun Belt. And for what, I don't know. This is just another version of the Mountain West, and I don't like they've got the Pac-12 name. You can trace this back. Blame USC and UCLA if you want. They started this latest round of dominoes, but I think it goes back further than that. This is sort of the end result of all the conference switching that really started in earnest early part of the last decade, and this is sort of one of the final acts. I don't think we're done yet. We'll redo this in a couple of years, and maybe Memphis gets involved somewhere. But I don't like what I mean. Texas State in the Pac-12 doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely weird. Bruce, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Check me out online. Old places for the picks. Baseball's going okay this week. VegasInsider.com, CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com, and the place for picks with a different twist, winnersandwhiners.com, picksandparlays.com.
Bruce, enjoy the weekend. We'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. Next week, obviously, 4th of July. We'll catch back up with you, I guess, July 11th? I mean, good Lord. We'll be completely into football build-up then.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Be safe.
Bruce Marshall joining us to talk some wagering. Go to the Discord and get his some of his futures for college football, but always join us from Vegas Insider and CBS Sports.
Did you check out Gomer?
Oh, yeah. What a guy.
How about that helmet?
Yo, man, that was something. That doesn't scream old school football. Way old school football. I don't know what does.
You could fold it up and put it in your pocket.
Sure could. I mean, I guess made it convenient. Nobody's forgetting their helmets.
No neck injuries then.
No. Well, I don't know. But that was definitely, yeah. I was looking up pictures of him while we were talking with Bruce, and yeah, that was something. But we need to get to another break. But before we do that, let me remind you, weekends here, perfect opportunity to head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967, Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands in Western wear. While you're down there, check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for so many different brands, but it is your one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South. But they've got you covered with plenty of other brands when it comes to shirts, jeans, jeans, outerwear, shorts, whatever you need, they've got it. And if you're in the market for a new pair of jeans, well, they've got you covered with some of the biggest brands from Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect size and style for you. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Head down to Olive Branch and check out Frontier Western Store. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk some Major League Baseball.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa,
Looking for sports in all the wrong places. Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Fun, exciting, friendly, and comfortable. Wall-to-wall TVs, 24 taps for all your beers, including $3 domestic and $5 craft pints on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 happy hour. Music bingo Tuesdays, daily special. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland's Town Square. Highway 70. Check those out for daily special and weekend music at the Owner's Box. Pools, and more pools. Yes, it is pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure is already booking pool installs, so you need to buy now and get on that list. 24-foot pools start at $19.99 install. Liners are starting at $2.99. You're going to need some pool accessories, so they're all up to 20% off. Not quite ready for a pool? That's fine. Get a 5 or 6 person hot tub starting at under $7,000. You can also go for a swim spa or perhaps a cold plunge tub. Those are now $2,000 off. Get patio furniture up to 50% off on select sets. Buy your pool now. Get on that install list. Mention this commercial, and your install is free. It's underlined in the in-bold print, so you know it's big. It's pool time at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together. For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
We're ready to crush the competition with your new ride from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike. 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5 SEL front-wheel drive EV, 318 miles on a single charge. We Gossett at just $241 a month. How about 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Sport 39 MPG Highway? We Gossett $297 a month. And 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT all-wheel drive MSRP $42,180. We Gossett now $37,180 or $469 a month. That's $5,000 off MSRP. And you always get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai today, 1870 Covington Pike, or visit us online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
MSRP 52015, SYO 16445, Elantra SU 997 852, MSRP 25565, Santa Fe RH 126339, MSRP 42180, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Tino was behind a stalled truck a few minutes ago over here on 240 westbound at Popular. Still see some rain showers on the radar here. Be careful this afternoon. Mix that with rush hour traffic. It's starting to get busier through Midtown on 240 South at South Parkway. Dandelions, Crabgrass Lawn Solutions here at Memphis says give them a call. 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's another fun weekend of Major League Baseball matchups and some really good storylines. You mentioned it earlier, the Cubs and the Astros. That should be a really fun series over the weekend. Two teams that have been playing well, two teams that lead their division. But, you look other places, and it feels like could be some really fun matchups around Major League Baseball. You look at Phillies and Braves. I mentioned it earlier. That feels like, two teams that, for the Phillies, kind of hitting a tough patch for them, getting swept by the Astros, losing a couple games before that. They would like to get a series win this weekend. On the other side, the Braves, really need to start going if they're going to make that push that we've all kind of been waiting for them to make. It feels like a really fun weekend around Major League Baseball.
If the Braves don't make that push at deadline time, will they be sellers?
That's a good question. That is it's really
they got a lot. They got a lot that everybody else would want.
Oh yeah,
and plenty on the way.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, and we know that is that's an organization that the last 5 or 6 years
do a lot of smart things.
They've done a lot of smart things, and they have been able to build their minor league system up really well. And so, they could be a team that has to make a difficult decision around the trade deadline, and we'll see if they make that. Because right now, you look. 37-43, if this could be a big weekend for them, if you could turn around against the Phillies, I think you feel really good. But, if you don't, you're starting to talk about, all right, where are we going this year, and do we think this is just a one-year thing and that we can bounce back next year, or do we really need to start making some changes?
I keep thinking the Braves are going to have that 16 out of 21 run, or, whatever it is, win a lot of games over the course of the month. It might be now, until around deadline time. But the more you drop under 500, you got to go on a great run just to kind of get above water.
Yeah, and they're hitting a tough stretch here with their next two series. Phillies, I mentioned got swept, but in that series, did not give up a lot of runs. It was just offensively they didn't have much going. They got to play the Phillies. Just got done playing the Mets, and then after this Phillies, they get the Angels. Who I think a lot of years you talk about the Angels. Okay, well that's where you build some wins, but Angels have been red hot as of late, playing some really good baseball.
40-40.
Yeah, so that's not a team to overlook if you're the Braves. So, no, it's a difficult stretch here. You get Baltimore and the Athletics after that, and the Cardinals going into the All-Star break. So, maybe you're able to bounce back there, but, it's certainly not going to be easy before at least the All-Star break to, be able to try to build back and, be over 500 at that All-Star break.
Padres at Reds, sneaky good series this weekend.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good one to keep an eye on, and, you look at those two sides where, Padres right now in a really good spot, playing well.
May not win the West, but they feel certain they're going to be in the mix.
Yeah, right
in the
now,
playoffs, wild card.
Yeah, 6 games back right now in the NL West, but in a really good spot for the wild card. Like you mentioned, on the other side, the Reds are, starting to play better baseball and, kind of got off to a really slow start. So, maybe able to turn things around because, we were thinking of them last year and even a little this year of, okay, here come the Reds. They've got a good group of young players, and if they can put it together, look out for them, and they just really haven't been able to. So, that will be a fun one to watch. Should be getting some obviously you've got power on both sides. If you can get some Fernando Tatis homers in there, maybe a couple of guys on Cincinnati that could bring the home run power. That could be one that delivers from a entertainment standpoint.
And I know probably, and I don't blame them after waiting so long. The fabled ending the curse of the Bambino. There have been just mountains of coffee table books written about the Red Sox and really this great 21st century that they've enjoyed. A case could be made that they've been the franchise of the 21st century. But turning around that curse, there's a lot of credit. It's never just one person that gets it done, whether it's Theo Epstein or John Henry as the owner or Manny Ramirez or Kurt Schilling and the Bloody Sock or even later Mookie Betts in the good 2018 year when they won 119, 118, something like that.
Yeah.
Terry Francona should be on that list of getting presidential medals of freedom for turning the Red Sox around.
Yeah, no, he absolutely should. I mean, he has been fantastic, not just for the game of baseball, but certainly for them. I hope
good in Cleveland. Now he's good in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's remembered extremely well. I think he will be. Obviously, has had some health issues that have kind of derailed his career a little bit. I think he's in a perfect spot right now with the Reds, and I think is a big reason for their success in being able to kind of right this season a little bit. I mean, you look up in Reds, we haven't talked about him much, but right now a couple games over 500, so this could be a big weekend for them to continue moving in the right direction.
Terry Francona was can't miss as a player. Son of Tito. Tito was a really good player, and he came through here in Memphis when the Chicks were affiliated with the Expos.
Yeah.
He was young phenom. I mean, it was gonna be the sport, top of the sport, and got the call up and tore up his knee on the AstroTurf at Old Busch Stadium. And really never had a chance to flourish.
I hate that.
I remember him at the fairgrounds. And going to see him play.
I mean, you always hate when you see that young prospect and they make it to
he was that
the
guy.
big level and that injury really derails their career. But he's turned into a phenomenal manager and has had a great career in that role as well. But I'm excited for this weekend. I think, what do we expect this weekend from the Cardinals on the road against a Guardians team that has been very up and down.
Need to win
season.
series.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, and obviously a really good opportunity to start it with a win tonight with Sonny Gray on the mound.
He's 7-2, 3.72 ERA. Has he been dominant?
I wouldn't say he's been dominant. He's been really good, but I don't know if I would necessarily say he's been dominant.
Remember when I was touting him as NL starter and all-star?
Oh yeah, no, I remember. May was a beautiful month, Brett.
That was silly.
It was a beautiful month. I mean,
boy, at the end of the year, we're gonna draw a line down the middle of a legal pad, and on one side silly, on one side accurate. For me with the Cardinals this year, and I think the left side's gonna be.
That's all right.
Be really full.
I think when you're looking at this team,
I let a lot of fandom talk. I'm sorry,
I mean,
Brian.
hey, after 2 years of just really pitiful baseball, and this team.
Well, last year wasn't so bad.
It was pretty bad. Now this team is.
When did I check out on them last year?
It was pretty early. It wasn't as early as the year before, but it was still pretty early.
Year before was record checkout.
It was, and so no, I don't blame anybody.
I detested them. Yeah. I couldn't take it.
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard. But hey, I mean, now they're above 500. May was great. They had some huge series wins, a couple sweeps in there. I mean, I can't blame any Cardinal fan or anybody talking Cardinals for anything they said about that team in the month of May.
Yeah, I loaded the wagon in May, didn't I?
I think so.
Really loaded it with preseason predictions.
Yeah, that happens.
The summer sales event of the year is at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Head down Highway 78, first exit. When you enter into Mississippi, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there where you can get the new and affordable 2026 All-Star Chevy Equinox right there at Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet with financing down to 6.6% for 72 months. New 25 Silverados with $6,500 cash back. That's a lot of money. And financing down to 2.9 for 36 months. Go big and get a new Silverado 2500 HD with your financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months, but not a single payment for 90 days. Your good credit deserves it, and that's what you'll get at All-Star with Drew DePriest and his great team there. If you're a member of law enforcement, a first responder, healthcare worker, educator, military, recent grad, extra $500 bonus back, just like that. All the certified and pre-owns you could ever imagine, like a Corvette Stingray and more Tahoes and Silverados than you'll find in one place anywhere in our area. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star and you'll get the most money back on your trade. Vacation, road trips, and all your summer fun. begin right there in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet with our friends, the good team of Drew DePriest and the All-Star Chevrolet people. Together, let's drive something from All-Star. And for more information, you can always go to allstarautogroup.com.
We've got some breaking news out of Major League Baseball. I'll just read the statement here from the Angels. The Angels announced today that Ron Washington will stay on medical leave for the remainder of the 2025 season. The club has named Ray Montgomery as interim manager, while Ryan Goins will be the bench coach. So Ron Washington out for the rest of the year. He's been out for a week or so on medical leave, and he will finish off the season on medical leave from the team. So hopefully it is nothing too terribly bad for Ron Washington. Definitely praying for him, hoping it's nothing super serious. But let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery instead of dependable service and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Matus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot with up to 40% off. Plus up to an extra $600 off select like GE Profile. Simplify your routine with GE Profile appliances. Refrigerators, water filters, and multiple dispensing options. All in one wash, laundry combo. You can wash and dry all in under 2 hours. Shop 4th of July savings on top of
It's summer. Time to enjoy long days, lazy nights, and great food. Because Uber Eats has deals all summer long. So, when hunger strikes, don't sweat it. Delicious deals are just a tap away on Uber Eats. Enjoy all your favorite grocery items delivered straight to you. Get ice cream, soda, and snacks from your favorite stores like Wegmans and CVS and make the most of every moment. Now that sounds like a good summer. Order now on Uber Eats. Terms apply. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Unleash the power. Make every mile count in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the bike. Available right now, 2025 Jetta SN 2025 Taos, 4.9 for 60 months. 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport, 3.9% for 60 months. And 1,500 loyalty rebate on all 2025 GTIs, Jettas, Taos, Tiguan's Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport. Plus 5,000 off 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SELR line. But only 2 left, so you better hurry to Gossett Volkswagen. 1875 Covington Pike or online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com. That's Gossett, charging forward and charging less every day.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
AC dealer for complete details. 2024 Atlas RC 226135, MSRP 51733, RC 227219, MSRP 52133. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Approved credit dealer stock only.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, shoes the whole time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Sports time on Sports 56 and 95 once again, Brett Rosworthy and Ryan Davis.
Big Daddy. Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 19, and it comes from the NBA draft last night with the selections of Sion James and Tyrese Proctor, who were both selected last night in the second round. That meant 5 Duke Blue Devils from last year's team were drafted in the 2025 NBA draft. Only 19 teams, including last night's Duke team, have had 5 or more players drafted in the same NBA draft. 11 of those teams were before the NBA went to 2 rounds in 1989. So I didn't do the extensive research of trying to figure out how many of those teams were in just 2 rounds. But the Duke Blue Devils putting themselves in a pretty good company, having 5 guys selected from last year's team.
Got to be a lot of UCLA in there.
Yeah, it was a handful, a good amount of UCLA in there, a couple Kentucky teams in there as well. Stephen F. Austin from like 1970 was in there. It was, it was. Honestly, Brett, and
can't name one.
I'm going to try to pull up the full list. But it was like, here it is. So it's like Kentucky, North Carolina, Duke, another Kentucky, Kansas, Florida, UConn, another Kentucky, Indiana, another North Carolina, UCLA, Marquette, UNLV, another UCLA, and then 1970 Stephen F. Austin. I mean, just out of nowhere. I don't know.
I don't even know who the star player would have been.
I have no idea. I'm going to look up 1970 Stephen F. Austin and see if anything rings
the
a bell.
Lumberjacks.
That's right. You nailed it, Brett.
1970, Stephen F. Austin. Wow. My big number is 53. 53 FBS programs have won 35-plus games in this 2020s we're in. From 2020 to 2024, 5 years, 53, my big number, have won 35-plus. Georgia's number 1 with 61. Bama second with 58. Ole Miss 16th with 44. Memphis 19th with 42.
Wow.
Tennessee 24th with 40.
Wow.
The 20s have been the Tigers over Tennessee.
How about that? It's been a good time for the Tigers.
And we talk all the time about the similarities, the real parallels with Ryan Silverfield and Lane, both hired the same year. When the games they've won, and just on the outside of the playoffs last year, and right there it's 16 and 19.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean they're like, I mean, just you look at both those programs and kind of what they've done, those coaches and what they've done, and it really is very, very similar in a lot of different ways. And so you're right, and it's good to see that we know that they've had that success, but it is nice to see them listed in a category like that of, hey, look, this Tiger team has been very successful. It feels like we talk about it every single year during the football season of, people too hard on this team when they're doing a ton of winning, and you just laid it out of all the winning they've been doing.
Except for winning the conference. Mm-hmm. I know that's the big thing. Of course. You could say Golden Era. Here's teams the Tigers have more wins than. Some notables. Oklahoma. They have 42 as well, but they're 42 and 21. The Tigers are 42 and 20. So a better record because one less loss. Tennessee 40 and 22. USC 39 and 19. Washington, and you got 11 and a 14 win year in here for Washington, 38-19, and of course, I'm going to read you these wins and you tell me the team. Okay. Blind resume, you ready?
Oh, geez. All right, please.
COVID year 9-1.
Okay.
Dodged a bunch of good teams with positives. 2021 8-4. 2022 5-7. In 23, 7-6, and last year 8-5.
I have no idea.
A&M.
Oh, A&M. Yep. Well, in my mind, I'm still thinking A&M is, undefeated every year.
In their minds too.
I'm in June mode, Brett. It's always June and July mode. We always have Texas A&M undefeated, and then they never go out there and do it. So that is
Here's
on me.
one, and a lot of it was Billy Napier, but Louisiana Lafayette,
yeah,
14th on this list, 45-20. That was 10-1, 13-1, 6-7, 6-7, and 10-4 last year.
Yeah, no, I mean it's been obviously a more of obviously a group of 5 program, but that's been a program that has had a lot of success.
And people always after Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. He's not. He's tied with 19 exactly with the Tigers, 42-20. 6-2, 10-4, 8-5, 10-4, 8-5. Yeah, let's get mad at that guy.
Yeah, well, it's not a sexy brand of football, Brett. It just
objects winning.
People want sexy, and he does not bring that. And I guess the cool kids want to run him out for that. But you're right,
they sure do.
All he
they
does
stay
is
all
win.
over.
He's a fantastic coach, but nothing sexy about it, which I almost kind of I like about him.
I do too.
He just he just goes out there and wins. Whatever he's got to do, he will find ways to win. Well, I'm excited. Speaking of college football, in our next segment to start the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to do our early college football playoff bracket results. It's going to be our second to last one because next time we do it, it's going to be the official thing, the one that we go into the season with. But before we do that, let me remind you, the weekend is here. Maybe you're looking for a night out with a lot of action on the televisions, and I got the perfect place for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday and 4 to 8 on Sundays. Look, I know nobody likes a loud or rowdy bar where you can't hear yourself even think, much less speak, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. Enjoy one of their great cocktails in their quiet, dimly lit bar, and it's not just the drinks. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis. Pair one of their gourmet burgers with the coldest beer in the city for a perfect night out. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. Go online to belltavern.com for a lot more information there as well. Well, we need to wrap up this hour, get to a break, and when we return, it's time to make some predictions. Our early college football playoff bracket. We'll get to that next on Sports Time.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that fits your budget and needs, and they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktimemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
I've got it on the line, Marty McNeil over at Costco Volkswagen Germantown, and he's ready to put you in a new Volkswagen today.
That's right, Randy. Guess what I've got available now? 2025 Jettas and 2025 Toyotas, 4.9% for 60 months. I've also got 25 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, 3.9% for 60 months.
What else you got over there, Marty McNeil?
On top of that, get 1,500 loyalty rebate on all 2025 GTIs, Jettas, Teos, Tiguan, Atlas, and Atlas Cross Sports.
And you were telling me earlier you've got $5,000 off 2024 Atlas Cross Sport CLR lines, but only 2 left, so you got hurt.
So come see me today, Marty McNeil at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettBWG.com. And remember, your future is what you make of it.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Spring is in the air, and it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free Green Egg Grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms. Enjoy endless hot water and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system and grill some slow smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with the NC Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Moore covering SEC sports film, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to free throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 live 60 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting a little bit heavier through Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 South here at South Parkway. It's trying to build over here on 40 East up by Sycamore View Road. All that traffic making its way out into Fayette County. Again, there's some thunderstorms. Looks like to the south and southwest of Memphis this afternoon. Dandelions, crabgrass. Lawn Solutions says give them a call here in Memphis at area code 901-867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the
Family Leisure Studios. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Once again,
You say you stand by your man. Tell me something.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios as we start our third and final hour, and we got to get to our early college football playoff bracket and results. When was the last time we did a bracket? I don't even remember.
Friday, January 31st.
Right. Okay, so a very long time ago.
That was the way too early college football playoff bracket.
So now this is just the way too early college football bracket.
Is it way or just too early?
It might just be too early.
And then the next one's one we're going to live with. I guess we'll do around Friday. What's the day before the season starts?
Yeah, we'll have to remember
or sometimes that week.
We've got it next year. We got to get down our way, how many ways, so we can really make sure it.
We got off on our ways, didn't we?
It's okay. Hey, we're all learning in this 12-team format. We're all learning as we go.
We were going to do another one in there, Landon, but we forgot. I forgot to.
Well, we can do way too early, and then the real one.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a lot of brackets.
Just lose a word.
It's a lot of brackets.
That's a lot of brackets. Yeah. What I ended up doing, both my January 31st bracket and my today June 27th bracket at 5:05. Look a lot like how I do my NCAA tournament bracket. Brian, I've told you I've started kind of going inside out.
Yep.
Of you get the middle of the bracket, the final four, final two, final four, final Elite Eight, get that right, and then try to find your upsets. That's what I'm kind of doing in football. I've got the end looks the same or a lot alike from January to now, but getting there doesn't. And getting there is different now because remember when we did this one, we were still bracketing conference champions.
That's right.
1 through 4,
exactly
like they
right.
did last year, and we know that's not going to be the case this
exactly year. Right. Yeah, no, so
just
it's
1 through 12.
Yeah, so that is going to look a lot different from the last time we did this. So no, this is going to be fun. I'm excited about it. I think the story of my bracket this time is mayhem. Call me the All-State guy. So I think mine's a little mayhem in a very different way than yours might be mayhem, Brett. But
I don't have a word for mine.
We shall see. I do like the theme of mayhem. Can you maybe make yours mayhem?
How would you describe? Would you call mine mayhem by having only 2 SEC teams in?
I would call that. I would definitely call that mayhem. I would absolutely.
You followed the format.
I would absolutely call that.
That's what I have. Had 3 last year, and it had people, including me, furious. It was this close, ever so close to being 6 last year. You change, and I'm not talking about anything crazy. Just a couple of plays for Ole Miss, for South Carolina, for Alabama. Alabama probably the craziest with how they played at OU. And I watched that game again. I can't believe there wasn't more criticism of Kalen DeBoer coming out of that game.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. That absolutely should have been.
It's the power of winning the Iron Bowl. Covered that up for him. And then how they played against Michigan. But anyway, but for sure, the Ole Miss play against Kentucky. And maybe one against LSU and one against Florida. And then for South Carolina, how they lost the LSU game. But in doing my lightly shaded pencil, W's and L's, I just have so many 9-3 SEC teams. The very real possibility, if I'm right on the 9-3s, and I don't know which one it would be because I don't really know the tiebreaker, but if that 9-3 upset my 10-2,
yeah,
and you had 10-3, 10-3, but one's the champion. Last year's committee precedent showed they're leaving home 3 lost teams.
Yeah, you're right.
You could have one SEC. You got one. One's getting in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you have that precedent from last year that all you looked at was the win column?
Yeah,
or losses, and that was the overriding thing, especially from Hunter Yurachek, the SEC rep that's back this year on the committee. I don't know how you go out there with a straight face and go, oh, yeah, forget everything we did last year.
Yeah, well, and that's something we talked about a lot last year, watching all of those, ranking shows throughout the season of it'd be nice if, especially now that we're at a 12-team college football playoff and we know that it will be expanding in the future, tell us what you're looking at. Tell us what's the criteria that you're looking at least with, the college basketball selection committee, we kind of know what they're looking at. We have
we do.
A little bit of a data point.
A big walk of history.
Sure. And, and that's kind of the thing of this is so new, but there's also, we have no idea what they're looking at. And
basketball has it down.
They absolutely do. And so, for football, we have nothing. And so we say, okay, well, it looks like last year they were looking at losses and they, 3 losses eliminated you from being in there. I would not be surprised at all if this year we got there and it was something completely different that they're looking at because we just have nothing that tells us, hey, these are the metrics, these are the things we are looking at for teams to make the playoffs. So I think that would be great if they could just give us a little bit of something of kind of the conversations that go on there, what is being brought up, what type of metrics that they're really kind of keying off when they rank these teams.
So I have 3 Big Ten teams, 3 ACC teams, 3 from the Big 12, 2 from the SEC, and 1 from the Mountain West. As the
I'd say that's mayhem. I'd say that is definitely mayhem right
Hawaii?
There. How about that? The Rainbow Warriors.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Ole Miss has a transfer wide receiver that's from Hawaii
How about
this
that?
year.
Wow.
Transferring in from, I'm not sure.
Well,
somewhere.
It's from Hawaii, though.
But native Hawaiian.
How about that? Wow.
Most good native Hawaiians leave Hawaii.
They do not play for the U of H.
That's typically how it goes.
Yeah, no, I
well,
think
Tua's
so.
a native Hawaiian.
That's
He went
right.
to Alabama,
That's
so
right. Yeah.
And Dylan Gabriel.
That's
yeah,
also
it's
right.
true.
Yeah.
They we breed them and then we send them away.
Well,
it's the gas price.
Yeah,
they all have to avoid
that's gotta
the
be
gas
it.
price.
That's
gotta be
That's
it.
exactly right. All right. Well, who wants to start us off?
I'll do it.
I don't think anybody wants. Go ahead, Landon.
So. Go
You
ahead,
jumped
Landon.
in. Go
I'll
ahead.
do it.
Yeah, please.
I'll get this out of the way. So full rundown, like rankings, bracket, everything.
Yeah.
All right. In my number 1, I'm going with Ohio State. Number 2, Notre Dame. Number 3, Texas. Number 4, Oregon. Number 5, Georgia. Number 6, Penn State. Number 7, Clemson. Number 8, LSU. Number 9, Florida. Number 10, Arizona State. Number 11, Alabama. Number 12, Iowa State. So your buys are Ohio State, Notre Dame, Texas, Oregon. Round 1, Georgia versus Iowa State. I have Georgia winning that. Penn State versus Alabama. I believe I have Alabama moving. I have Alabama moving forward. Clemson versus Arizona State. I have Clemson moving forward, and LSU versus Florida. And I have Florida advancing with that.
Rematch from September 13th.
It's gonna be good. I really like Florida's team this year. So then in the round 2, got Florida versus Ohio State. I have Ohio State winning that. Alabama versus Texas. I have Texas moving on. Clemson versus Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame moving on. And Georgia versus Oregon. Georgia advances. So then you have Ohio State versus Georgia I have Georgia moving on. Notre Dame versus Texas with Texas moving on and Georgia reclaiming the throne.
Okay, here's my mayhem compared to Landon's bracket. Landon, your bracket's very solid, very solid.
I appreciate that.
I don't even have Notre Dame in it.
Wow. Okay.
I have Notre Dame with regular season losses at home to Texas A&M.
Wow.
And at Fayetteville.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That would be crazy.
If you lose to both SEC teams on your schedule, shouldn't a 9-3 SEC team have priority over a 10-2 Notre Dame?
I would think so. Yeah.
If you're smart, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're only looking.
I was about to say I don't really know.
With the precedent set last year.
Yeah, I don't really know what the answer is, Brett, because we were told last year that the losses are what matter the most. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
And if LSU wins opening night at Death Valley, the other Death Valley over Clemson goes on like I think we all have them in the mix. But if it got down to either or, if Clemson wins the ACC, they're in. But if it's at large, Shouldn't 9-3 LSU have priority over even a Clemson team that lost in an ACC championship game, a 10-3 Clemson?
You'd think so.
I mean, LSU beat them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but I mean, I don't
It's a
necessarily
big
know.
what if.
Yeah, I really don't. Again, give me what you're looking at, and then maybe we can understand it better.
I'm telling you, I'm going to need to be in a straitjacket and heavily medicated that Sunday morning.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Right?
All right, I'll go now. I will start at the top, and I'll work my way down. Number 1, Penn State. Oh, man, those beautiful
That's
uniforms.
my number 1.
Okay, wow.
You
all
want
right.
mayhem? I got you
I love it.
mayhem.
I
We
love
got
it.
Jimmy Franklin at number 1.
I can't wait. I mean, it's a terrible thing to do, but we're, I guess, both doing it in June. So I have Penn State number 1. I have Texas 2, Clemson 3, Ohio State 4, Georgia 5, Notre Dame 6, Oregon 7, LSU 8, Miami 9. Texas Tech joins the party at number 10.
Why so low? I have them at 6.
Wow. So yours is much more mayhem than mine. Number 11, Boomer.
Sooner.
Oklahoma in the college football playoff.
You got an OH in earlier. I didn't get the IO in. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I left
Hey,
you hanging.
We're in
I'm sorry.
off-season
What a
form,
terrible
Brett.
partner to leave you hanging.
Brett, it's off-season form. It's June.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it is what it is. I kind of got it in there
We
while,
gotta get ourselves together,
while
don't we?
Landon was talking. I just tried to slip it in there.
You did, and I
didn't.
did, and I left
okay.
you hanging.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
It's
That's
all right.
like a high five left
It
hanging.
is.
That's
It
not
is.
cool.
It didn't make me feel good, but it's okay. Friday afternoons make me feel good, so that'll make up for it. And then Boise State rounds out my top 12 as the Group of 5 representative. So that means in the first round, we would have Miami taking on LSU in the 9-8 matchup. I have LSU winning. The 12-5 would be Boise State and Georgia. I have Georgia winning that one. The 10-7 Texas Tech and Oregon. I have Texas Tech pulling the upset over Oregon. And then the 11-6 Oklahoma and Notre Dame. I have Notre Dame winning that one. So we go to the second round. 8-1 LSU and Penn State. I have LSU pulling the upset and beating Penn State. The 5-4 I have Georgia and Ohio State. I have Ohio State beating Georgia. In the 10-2 Texas Tech and Texas, I have Texas Tech pulling the upset over Texas, advancing to the semifinals. And the 6-3 Notre Dame and Clemson, I have Clemson winning that one, advancing to the semis. So then my semis, we have LSU as the 8 seed, taking on Ohio State as the 4. I have Ohio State winning that one. 10 Texas Tech versus number 3 Clemson. I have Clemson winning that one. With the championship game, which I don't love, but whatever, Ohio State versus Clemson. I have Dabo coming back and taking it all. Clemson winning the national championship.
We are around each other way too much. I mean, just way too much.
That is great.
And trust me, people, this is what we live for.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about this all the time with each other. So we may be developing group think and not
We
even
might be.
meaning
We really
to.
might. We really might.
All right, with all that said, Penn State 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Georgia 4. Georgia wins the SEC, and we'll see what happens with the runner-up. I have the runner-up in here, but are they going to take a 9-4 runner-up?
Well, that's a really good question.
If they do, we know where the seed will be. I'll get to that. Number 5, Miami. The U is back.
Oh, yeah.
6, Texas Tech. Big Bucks talk.
Yep, they sure do.
7, Illinois. Brett Bielema in Illinois. Brett Bielema, that all he could do in the SEC was beat Hugh Freeze and ruin my life.
And block you.
And block me for absolutely no reason.
It's just I big on you for even putting him in your top 12.
Really is big on me.
Really is.
That's
really
how big a person
That's
I
right.
am, isn't
That's
it?
right. I mean, you could have held a grudge. I would have probably held a grudge. I would not have
Me hold a grudge, Brian? Have you ever heard of such?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. I mean,
it's a clean slate every day with me, right?
You're a bigger person than that, Brett. I mean, you are just opening your heart to Bielema. I love it.
Grudge and me have never been mentioned in the same sentence, has it?
Never.
8, SMU, back 2 years in a row. And that's right before he heads to be the Arkansas coach. 9, Kansas State. 10, Iowa State. Big 12, Big 12, Big 12. 3 of them in here.
Wow.
11 Boise State, and 12 the loser in the SEC championship game. And at 9-4, if you're going to have a 4-loss team, you got to put them 12.
Got to.
And that's LSU. Wow. So 12 LSU at 5 Miami, with Miami getting that win. 11 Boise State at 6 Texas Tech. Texas Tech wins. 10 Iowa State at 7 Illinois. Illinois wins. And that could be in a foot of snow
really could
in Champaign-Urbana.
It really could.
And TV would love that. 9 Kansas State at 8 SMU, with Kansas State getting the upset. So then in the Elite 8, 5 Miami versus 4 Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, Georgia winning. 6 Texas Tech versus 3 Ohio State. New Year's Eve in the Cotton Bowl, with Ohio State winning that game. 7 Illinois losing to 2 Clemson in the Orange Bowl, and number 1 Penn State defeating number 9 Kansas State in the Rose Bowl. Kansas State in a Rose Bowl.
Crazy.
Semifinals, number 4 Georgia defeats number 1 Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl. They've had some great bowl games in the past. Number 2 Clemson defeats number 3 Ohio State in the Peach Bowl. And then in Miami in the national championship game, DABO.
Holy cow.
Clemson over Georgia for the
Holy
national
cow.
championship.
Wow.
We agree.
Wow. I did not think we would get much of any agreement during this segment, but how about that?
Klubnik, he's going to be the guy.
I think so. I think he takes another step this year, and we've been talking about a lot of guys in terms of Heisman. Cade Klubnik, he's going to be right there in the mix.
And I've got Clemson doing that after losing opening night to LSU.
Whoa, that's going to be such a fun game. I cannot wait
be
for that game. 2 great quarterbacks I love Nussmeier. I mean, honestly, I don't even care what else is on LSU's roster. If Nussmeier's the quarterback, they're in my college football playoffs. I love
Klubnik, Nussmeier against each other opening night. The winner's in great shape for Heisman. Earlier that day, we talked about it. If Arch goes out there and has that day, he's ahead by 10 miles, but he'll have the winner of that game in the conversation with him. If he loses, then it's the winner of Nuss Klubnik in front.
Yeah, it really will be. I mean, opening day is going to be huge, and you're right. It's going to be big for those quarterbacks and kind of where they can start out of the gate in terms of Heisman talk. That's the beauty of week 1 of college football is we all come in.
Oh, the overreaction.
Oh, it's great. Well, Anthony Richardson that 1 year, he had a great first game. We're all going, oh man, this guy has
that
Heisman written all over him. Oh man.
There maybe after the final brackets revealed is close, but the overreaction after the first week of college football versus just like 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Never mind media days. Media days, distant memory.
Oh man, nothing better than media days. That's really when we need to do our college football playoff. Is right after media days when all the coaches have gotten out there and said we're the best team in the country. We're going to win all these games.
Well, that's a 50-way tie for 12 teams.
Exactly. I mean, then who do you put in there? Oh, I love media days. It's just every single coach out there.
2 from the SEC, though.
That's crazy. I mean,
you know how mad people will be?
That is utter mayhem. Oh, it would be.
But I think it's going to be. I think the league's going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's not the separators it used to be. I hope I don't make anybody mad with this, but it's simple math. If you have, and we do, if you have a tier of really contributing teams, really viable teams like Mizzou, Ole Miss, South Carolina, I'll even throw in Oklahoma and Auburn in that. Please don't get mad, but I'll throw those in. Well, if all those teams win, then everybody's getting scratched up.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean.
And with 16 teams now, it just makes mathematical sense that you can't have that 1 or 2 dominant team like we did enjoy a lot of years with 12.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point, and so we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, if we get to that point and there's only 2 teams in the playoffs, worst case scenario for the SEC. I mean,
and the precedent set last year. Now I know what you can also do with precedent from last year. Throw it in a garbage can and say we got new precedent this year.
Yeah, and I'm worried that's probably what we're going to see. And I would love, let's get together and let's just.
Okay, then what's the rest of college football's reaction to that? You mean you lost 3 times and lost as a 16-point favorite at home to Kentucky, and we reward you with a playoff bid?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what the reaction would be.
It just means more.
Dang SEC.
Yeah, always. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, honestly, going into next year, because it was always just kind of, here are 12, have fun, and then that was about it.
But Bama's not what they were, right?
No, I mean, Bama, you got to show me. Now that it's
Sure.
Nick Saban, you got to prove to me that you're going to be a team that's going to be in competition for a postseason.
I mean, I don't want to go full Castellanos, but Nick Saban's not there to bail them out anymore.
That's exactly right. And, I mean, there was not much – when you put together not much that we saw last year of new coach can come in and immediately turn things and keep things going great. And then also you got a brand new young quarterback coming in that, hasn't really been able to get much playing time. It's just, I don't really know what's going to happen.
Least best Kirby team since he's gotten it rolling?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I think maybe not.
Do you really trust Brian Kelly?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Ole Miss, I got Ole Miss as one of those 9-3 teams.
Sure.
But replacing Jackson Dart, that's not just simple easy.
No, not at all. And that's the thing is
and the hunted now.
That's right. When you mentioned Georgia in there, I mean Georgia, I think you can always say, hey, Kirby Smart, you just trust that his teams are gonna be good. But it's the same thing. You got a quarterback that really didn't get much run last year, and it's a lot of new. I mean, it's a lot of these teams are kind of hard to pinpoint.
Anybody ever confuse Napier with Spurrier or Urban?
No, certainly not.
Okay.
Certainly not.
Well, then something's got to give.
Yeah, I think we might get their quarterback confused.
I did the full announcer setup. Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, Brett. It's my favorite. Something has to give. But that was fun. We will when we get closer to the season.
That will be funny to look back. Save these.
Oh boy, yeah. No, this is going to be fun to look back. How about looking back when we do our official? Looking back to this one, looking back to the one in January. I mean, it's going to be a lot different.
I'll have to destroy this, or I could get fully defrocked as SEC bootlicker.
Oh, that's exactly right. Landon, flag the tape. I mean, save it somewhere.
I've already saved it.
Yeah,
permanent SEC gulag. I could be put in.
We're gonna be getting calls from the higher ups, and some men in black suits with SEC badges on them.
Helicopters.
Asking where's the tapes of Brett Norsworthy. So I don't know, but a lot can change between now and before we get to opening day. But that was a lot of fun. Before we get to another break, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there and test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince, for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to our another break, not our final break. I'm getting ahead of myself trying to get to the weekend. Good Lord. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Vargas. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's
Now available in the 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet to steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it. A beloved family of berries, still going strong since 1948. Rendezvous.
Progressive presents
Employee of the Month.
Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Almost Fall. Michaela. She's insurance for Progressive and choose from all the customizable coverages. Sure, I know she's a really employee, doesn't know everything, but while others were personal loans, Michaela was already worth saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. See if you can see this thing with 7 minutes of Progressive Commercial Bond Card. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. All states are for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Hey, it's Mark and Ronnie at Gossett Hyundai South on Mount Moriah with his brand spanking new dealership. What's up, dude?
Randy, not only do I have a great new dealership, we've got service available with less wait time than anyone in town. 16 service bays and immediate appointments available. Plus, a 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE, $288.75 per month and 3.99% available for 72 months. 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL, $349.89 per month and 3.99 up to 60 months available. And a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive, $37,180. That's $5,000 off MSRP.
Plus America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, or shop online anytime. HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com, and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still some traffic trying to get out in Midtown on 240 South here at South Parkway. As you continue south of Memphis on 55, it's gotten a little bit heavier down through DeSoto County into Tate County as it tries to load up over here on 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385 as you get on to Bill Morris Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, your diamond engagement ring headquarters. It's bridal season. Stop by and see them this weekend. And shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got about 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, and something that was trending certainly last night was, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, the Dane Danger announcement last night. Jason Munz, really right when we got off air. I mean, it couldn't have been 30 minutes after we got off air last night. Jason Munz broke the news on the commercial appeal that Dane Danger's waiver request to the NCAA had been denied. We obviously had talked a lot about it earlier that day, and we'd been talking about it for weeks prior of, what happens after that. Does he take it to court? What does he do? Dane Danger later in the night put on social media a thank you to Memphis. It was announced he will be joining the Miami Heat in Summer League, so it doesn't look like they're going to fight this at all. Penny Hardaway put out a statement last night. I'll read part of it. Quote, "I'm really proud of Dane and how he handled everything during his time with us. He gave us great energy every single day and embraced our program and culture from day one. We're obviously disappointed with the NCAA's decision because we know what this opportunity meant for him, but that doesn't take away from the impact he had here. Dane's future is incredibly bright." But now, on the flip side of that, that means this Tiger roster
got to have a big
12 players, and only one big, and really is more of a stretch, a very big four, not really kind of what Dane Danger was as a big man.
You think that big is on the way before opening night?
Oh yeah, no, I think from what it's sounding like, it feels like maybe next week we hear that announcement. It feels like maybe a little longer than that, but it feels like relatively soon that's going to be announced. And I mentioned it, Jason Munn's.
Both the Grizzlies and the Tigers kind of need a big.
Yeah, no, hey, that's the thing. Hey, we've kind of talked about that before of parallels between the Tigers and the Grizzlies, but that is certainly one of them right now. And we'll see. I know Jason Munn's earlier today. On with Dave Woloshin said kind of compared him to Moussa Cisse, so you would think a shot blocker, kind of a rim runner guy. Yeah, but I mean that's kind of what Bradshaw is. He's kind of a rim runner and shot blocker. So maybe,
you just have so many of those. You got to get somebody that scores.
That's right. And so I just don't know. Jason didn't want to put much out, obviously, with it not being announced yet. So who knows? Maybe it is a guy that's more of a scoring option, maybe a little bigger than kind of what Musa was. That can be a little more physical down there. Because that's the thing about Bradshaw is he's big, very big. He's just not very physical.
Any more hints from Jason on scheduling?
Oh, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. He said that he believes 4 more games will be announced. 2 of them that he believes will be bye games. 2 of them that will be home and home. And Dave tried to press him and try to get a little more out of him. And Jason Munn's made it sound like he thinks Memphis and Baylor are in a good spot to maybe announce something on the schedule, which would obviously be a big opponent for the Tigers next year.
And you know what I'll say on the night of that game?
The woulda, shoulda, couldas of him.
A lot of this could have been prevented.
Yep.
If it just hired the Baylor coach when he wanted to come here.
Yeah, you hired Drew, and and you had a great opportunity to do that.
All those I've heard, some have said, industry sources indicate.
Yeah. Which is crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know what J School teaches that.
Yeah, but I mean, Scott Drew has been unbelievable as a head coach
at a place that between the Justice Department, the Education Department, they've gone through every file at Baylor, most of it vis-a-vis Art Briles and other really lurid cases. There hadn't been a fingerprint with Scott Drew on it.
No.
Not one.
And you saw where that program was before he took over.
Some say I've been told, I've got texts. That was just the biggest load of all time.
Just insane. And you're right. I mean, it has
but accomplished the goal and got Jolly Josh hired.
Sure. Yeah, well, hey, and we saw how that turned out.
We see him this year, too.
We do, yes.
Boy, what a contrast. Get to see Scott Drew that's won a national championship and had a number 3 player select the other night and get to see Jolly Josh.
Yeah. Shout out VJ Edgecombe. So get to see both those coaches. Yeah, that is really get best of both worlds, I guess, this season with the opposing coaches. Speaking of the draft, we've talked a lot about Ace Bailey and what's going on there with him. Sounds like he will.
He's reporting.
He will report to Utah.
He and the agent came to their senses, didn't they?
Yeah, after reports this morning that maybe he doesn't report to
Second reference
to
of the day of this. Money talks.
Money talks. Money absolutely talks. I had a buddy that sent me that somewhere, I think it was maybe Bovada, had odds up of Ace Bailey's next team that he would be traded to. I go, I have a hotline for you. If you're betting on Ace Bailey's
He'll
next
be with
team
Utah opening night.
He's going to look at that front office, look who's the shot caller in Utah who made that pick, And tell me that he's not going to be.
And
in Utah.
that owner, he really could.
Yeah.
In years from now, be the best owner in the league.
He definitely could be. You are.
And at the same time, he owns BYU basketball.
That's right.
And really helps with BYU football.
Sure does.
BYU could have been one of those Big 12 teams in that playoff.
Could have been and have a 5-star quarterback come in next year. So they've they've got it figured out in terms of, you talk about those teams that have the money and array to spend it. BYU's right there. AJ DiBonzo, we know what he could be next year. Oh, that's another thing, Brett.
He'll be number one, won't he?
Well, I'm so glad we're talking about this. What is worse? I have a question for these are three options. What is worse, Brett? A way too early top 25 the day after the national championship, a way too early bracketology the day after the championship, or a way too early mock draft after the NBA draft?
Brett, after all these years doing this, on Friday, June 27th, none of those are bad subjects. There's no such thing as the worst.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer. Yeah.
On 25th of October, we don't need any of that.
No. But yeah, I when I woke up this morning, I saw ESPN had their 2026 mock
Brian,
draft.
I looked today, and I looked today, and I'm going to get to it later in Mo's Crunch Time.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see just how many Arkansas and BYU players are in that first round.
All right. Well, I don't want your answer because I don't want to take anything away from Mo's Crunch Time. But I looked at it for maybe 2 seconds. I wanted to see who they had at number one, and then I closed out of it because
I like looking at all that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be looking. I mean, I say all that. I'll be watching the FIBA U19 this weekend and watching all of these guys play. So I'm no better than
that's
anybody.
A big step
I was about to say I'm hearing myself say these things of like I'm not looking at a mock draft when I'm literally going to go out of my way and watch that. Who?
One of the great college basketball analysts, writers of all time. The Hall of Famer on these airwaves with Dave, Mike DeCourcy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Mike loves all the U's.
Oh, yeah.
He watches all the FIBA and the U's.
There's guys everywhere on it, but I did want to watch Team USA because they've got a ton of dudes on it, including AJ DiBonzo.
Here's something that really grinds my gears. So we were talking earlier about athletic department personnel at a lot of places being offered early retirement. They have to cut costs.
Yeah.
I understand that. I don't have to like it. I don't know exactly what all those people are making, but I'm gonna guess. I'm pretty good at this. I'm gonna say at most of the places, kind of in the neighborhood, you're making anywhere from 80 to 140. It's somewhere in there. This tweet from Steve Berkowitz.
Okay.
Texas A&M AD Trev Alberts will get a $50,000 bonus
there it is.
for the Aggies finishing number 15 in the final Learfield Director Cup standings. He gets this amount for a finish from number 15 through number 11. At Texas A&M, we can they can do anything they want to with their money. It's their money.
Absolutely.
They're going to bonus the AD $50,000 for finishing 15th. Isn't his job to finish one?
Finishing 15th in the Director's Cup, Brett. I mean,
way to go.
A round of applause for Texas A&M, man.
And I'm a good Learfield employee.
Of course you are.
Learfield.
You absolutely are. But I think even in the Director's Cup, Texas A&M has higher standards and higher expectations than 15.
They'll fly that banner.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, next to all the preseason undefeated banners that they have.
Well, the trophy case is not big enough for all that.
Well, that's true. That's true. Each and every year. I mean, I couldn't even guess their blind resume earlier because of how high everyone is always on them each and every offseason.
I want y'all to be alert to something. Speaking of A&M, we're going to do a bunch of quarterback rankings, conference, and I want you to I call it kind of the Cam Newton, Johnny Manziel Award. Not that this person has to go on and win the Heisman Trophy, but every year at run up to college football media days, we didn't even know how to pronounce Johnny. Let me go first person. I didn't even know how to pronounce Johnny Manziel's last name properly, and he turned into that.
Sure.
I had forgotten about Cam Newton even being at Auburn.
Yeah.
There's always one quarterback that we don't even have on a depth chart right now that emerges. I'm not saying win the Heisman like Cam did in 10 and Johnny did in 12, but have a big year.
Yeah.
Have you a guy somewhere out there.
I like it. Well, you had a good example of it last year with Diego Pavia. I remember having a conversation with my brother last year because he really liked the backup quarterback at Vanderbilt. He thought that he was going to be the starter, and I remember him telling me, I forgot what he was looking at, maybe one of these magazines or something. He was like, I can't believe, I'm just going to use Athlon as I can't believe Athlon has this kid from New Mexico State as the starting quarterback at Vanderbilt, and then he turns into Diego Pavia, and we're all talking about him and making the comparisons to Johnny Manziel with him last year.
And what if that quarterback is a Memphis Tiger?
Yeah, could be. Definitely could be. Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on because it's a crowded quarterback room for the Tigers. I think I talked about it after the spring game. I think they've got 3 really good options at quarterback. But yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing my homework this weekend, Brett, and try to see if I can start nailing down one of those quarterbacks. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we return, we'll wrap everything up. We'll wrap this week up with Mo's Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback and hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member in both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Total membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Whitten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Do you know someone with a drug or alcohol problem? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything. Stop the drug and alcohol nightmare. Are drug and alcohol problems hitting you too close to home? Get help right now. Insurance may cover everything.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. That's 800-694-1127.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I'm often called Shell Done because I sell homes and work with buyers and I get the job done. There are 7 keys to successfully selling your home quickly at a great price. First, call me. I do my research and advise you on preparation, presentation, and proper pricing that gets you the activity to get the best price. Follow my advice and it can happen. I did mention 7 keys to a successful sale, didn't I? Well, if you use the first key, calling or emailing me, you really don't need the next 6 keys. Remember, that's Sheldon Rosengarten at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. If you don't need me now, write it down for later or for a friend. That's Sheldon at 483-0546 at MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now, and who knows, you may hear your home advertised here. Remember, as bad a golfer as I am, when selling homes, Sheldon gets it done.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to the retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Also stores in Cleveland, Mississippi and Little Rock. They specialize in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, and family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey, y'all, Jimmy Stone over here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Museums have trusted Corky's to cater their events for 40 years. Because we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet, starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next party.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Extraordinary events from once in a lifetime, and right now, even the most extravagant luxuries are well within reach. The one and only May sale is back at Sissy's Log Cabin, and you can save up to 50% on nearly everything in the store. This is your chance to get the service, selection, and experience that makes you feel like family at the best prices of the year. Guaranteed. Don't miss the one and only May sale at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco Crunch Time emergencies.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need a crunchy bite to eat? Head to Moe's for nachos, crunch wraps, tacos, salads, and more. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today over at The Athletic, they did a kind of feature story on Sacramento State and their athletic programs and how they are trying to build those as a university. We've seen a lot of the Sac-12 when they've been trying to get to the FBS and get into the Pac-12, still trying to get into the FBS after their first attempt was denied. But a really good story over at The Athletic about everything they're doing. They went out and hired UNLV offensive coordinator Brennan Marion as their head coach. On the basketball side, we know what they're doing. Going out and get Mike Bibby as their head coach, Shaquille O'Neal as their general
Former
manager.
Grizzly Mike Bibby.
That's exactly right. I found this interesting. According to The Athletic, the football programs the football program is expected to spend $4 million on NIL between donations and revenue sharing. They're paying Marion, their head coach, $750,000, and the program has a $2.7 million staff pool. According to The Athletic, all three of those figures are believed to be the highest in FCS. Currently, on 247 Sports, as a FCS program, they rank number 63 in the transfer portal for the 2025 season, including a commitment, and I did not know this, from Jaden Rashada, who was at Georgia last year. He's been everywhere. He's been everywhere and has not played much of any football, but he's been on every team, it feels like. And for next year's class, in terms of current commitments, among FBS teams, Sacramento State ranks 57th among FBS in the 2026 commitment class. So stuff is happening over at Sacramento State, and it's going to be fun to watch both their football and their basketball team this year and see what they can do.
Where did Sac State get all their cash?
I guess a good area for money.
I wonder who the benefactor is.
I don't know, but it said, a lot of their boosters, have been able to, get jobs, and I guess pretty good jobs in Sacramento, and they are all, invested in the athletic departments for Sacramento State. So I guess good for them.
Titans drafted a lineman
from Sacramento State.
Jackson Slater.
How about that? All right.
Wow.
Good.
What's
for
next?
State.
Texas Tech versus Sacramento State college football national
championship.
Yeah. Texas State and Sacramento State in the Pac-12 championship game. How about that?
Oh my! But I learned today, a year after a full staff fired and Tomas Isolo added to the new staff, now we were going to outscore everybody a year ago. Now we're going back to wing defenders and defensive influence and grit and grind.
Well, see how it plays out for him.
Isolo went 4-5 in his interim stint and got swept in the playoffs. And now we're throwing everything out.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of change we've already seen, and offseason's really just getting started, so feels like it's going to be very eventful. Well, what I could have done without, I was going to talk about Ace Bailey for a third straight day because the reports this morning that he wasn't going to report this weekend to Utah, but we knew how that was going to play out. The reports this afternoon from the Utah Jazz are that he is going to report to Utah tomorrow. So I'll go with something I mentioned earlier today, R.J. Lewis Jr., the Big East Player of the Year, a guy that a lot of people thought would either go back to St. John's or enter the transfer portal and command a ton of money in the transfer portal because of how dominant he was at St. John's. He decided that he was going to go into the draft, test the draft waters, I guess assumed he got enough positive feedback to stay in the NBA draft, and last night did not go in the second round. So an undrafted guy that you could imagine would have made some serious cash at the collegiate level, and so it feels like a massive missed opportunity for R.J. Lewis Jr.
No, I could do without this. This is Calipari's time of year, and he's got 2 Arkansas players in next year's mock draft in 2026. He's got 3 in the including in the second round in a top 45, 2 in top 22, 3 in top 45. Calipari's best time of year: summer height, preseason, top 4 or 5, non-conference neutral games, then kind of lumbering conference start, then the early exit in the tournament.
Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me too. A baseball weekend, and thank goodness for that. Cubs at Astros.
Yeah, that is going to be a really good one. I mentioned this one earlier. It feels like a big series for both teams right now. Phillies and Braves, good pitching matchup tonight, especially for the Phillies throwing one of their young prospects.
Sunday night baseball, Tarek Skubal on TV Sunday night.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be must watch. He has been the best pitcher in Major League Baseball. So, it's going to be a very busy baseball weekend, but not a ton else to keep an eye on. So, it will be a lot of baseball watching. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.